We are here to recognize our seniors and those that have contributed to their success as athletes here at Lamar and students here at Lamar. So you see them parading out onto the field with their significant others and escorts. As soon as we have a photographer down on the sideline, that will be 3 yards. Thank you. I introduce them.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's Lamar Viking pregame show. The Yaller horn has been blown and we are ready for a great game tonight between the Mesquite Skeeters and your Lamar Vikings. This is Richie Sherrod. Joining me in the booth is Javier Nahera. Javi, we got to see some winning football last week. How about we do it again tonight?
Absolutely. Let's do it again tonight. That was a lot of fun last week. Thank you, Richie, for that introduction, and we are ready for some good football. At the moment, the seniors are lining up for their special day today, but we are ready.
Yeah, so last week Lamar celebrated homecoming, week 1, and we had a homecoming game. Lots of pomp and circumstance with the homecoming court, all those huge mums. Javi, I saw a meme that showed a military helicopter lowering a homecoming mum onto the field with a statement that read, "Meanwhile in Texas, parents are dropping off homecoming mums." We saw a few that were just monstrous that covered up almost the whole young lady. Fun night last week. Tonight is senior night, as you just let us know. Javi, tell us a little bit about senior night. Which groups are going to be recognized?
Well, as we look out on the field, obviously all the seniors in any group. Of course, we see a lot of the football players out here, but Vikings, certainly cheer, band. Any seniors in that and those groups are out here with their parents, with their guardians, with their whoever is special to them are out on the field at the moment.
And why don't you just let me see if I can get this back up. Why don't you describe just a little bit about what we're seeing? Looking out here, we got moms, we got kids, and lined up on the field.
Yep. So we have the students, whether they're student athletes, part of the football team, or I can see some of the Vikings out there with their, of course, with their uniform. And I see some of the cheerleaders, and then next to them you see more than one person, 2 or 3 people, sometimes more than 4 or 5 or more people. I did 2 of these myself with my daughters,
right?
And so not that you can bring the whole family, but you can bring certainly people that are special to you, and they're lined up. They're about to be announced. They're about to be recognized as far as what they have going on, what they've had going on during their high school career, and possibly what's coming next for them.
Excellent. Yeah, so a lot of these we do see it's maybe mom. I do see quite a few dads that are out there. Maybe a few brothers and sisters that are in there as well. Depends on who all's in the family. Maybe a few grandmothers, aunties out there. So yeah, this is a really big deal, especially if you've been playing football for several years and you're being recognized for senior night. So I'm going to put you on the spot, Javi. What was senior Javier being recognized for?
I saw that.
Remember, this is a family show, so don't anything,
Oh, if the boys are listening. But I saw that comment or question, and I even went back to my yearbook, Richie.
Yeah.
I don't think we had a senior night, in my time.
Yeah.
We definitely had a homecoming. We definitely had prom, and but I don't know that we had this. But I will tell you that we had a football senior moment, I guess let's call it. And so the one thing that I'll tell you is, and I didn't know this until I connected with a friend of mine from the team on Facebook. He was the one that reminded me that apparently I was the most improved player from junior to senior year.
Okay.
So if you're looking for what was I recognized for, I guess that's what it was. And the reason was I went from a defensive player, I was a linebacker, but I got let's just call it athletic, I guess. I didn't have enough weight, but I could run. I learned to run, and so I went to what we used to call a wingback, which was kind of a hybrid running back receiver.
Okay.
And so I guess the change to that was why I was nominated for that.
Javier, you needed a change of scenery. They always say the player needs a change of scenery. You needed a change of scenery, and made you a little better player. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is a really cool deal. And so happy to see the seniors out here as they get recognized for the longevity, if you will, sticking with it. All right, let's look at senior night's going to be fun. But before we look at tonight's matchups, I do want to get your final thoughts on 27-9. Good game last week. Wanted to get your thoughts on a week to process it. Thoughts after a week after the game.
For us, of course, up here was really fun to watch.
Right.
We saw a lot of improvements from the previous 2 games.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's easy for us to say that, but I always go to the coaches show and get. I really want to know what Coach Skinner wanted to say about that. And one thing that caught my attention is he talked about the team has a leadership council, and even after the first 2 losses. He mentioned that leadership council, talked to him and said, Coach, we're asking for permission to get together. We need to change this. We need to get this going, and they did. And he actually said, meaning Coach, that they had, I think he said, the best practice he's seen since he's been back, at Lamar. So obviously that brought a lot of dividends for the game last Friday.
Yes.
The fact that the team, and he talked about the fact that there was no finger pointing, there was nothing like that. Just the character showed in this team.
Love it. And some of the very best players, aren't playing yet. I mean,
Right.
Your offensive line lost two guys 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And you had to guys had to step up, and they're not going to call off the season.
No.
They're not going to say, hey, let's just give you a few weeks to get everybody healthy.
Right.
That doesn't happen, and so you have to have guys step up. And Lamar really did that last week.
Yeah, I was just going to say that because I saw number 50 out here. I think he's back in the clubhouse, but so he's stepping in at left tackle for number number 75, Isaiah Robinson, and that's those are pretty big shoes to fill.
Sure.
If people have been keeping up with with Isaiah Robinson, he's committed to college. He's the left tackle that everybody wants to have. But the point is, he was the one that stepped up. And I remember last week, there was a play where the defender got around him and caused a turnover.
Right.
And I could see him on the sideline, really upset about that.
Well, let's hope that some of that positivity, let's hope some of that teamwork and team leadership continues tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight, District 8 6A action. Let's start with last night. Last night, the South Grand Prairie Warriors hosted the Rockwall Yellow Jackets. Kind of a high-scoring affair with Rockwall coming out on top 38-31. That puts the Warriors in an 0-4 hole going into district play next week. Javier, the Warriors are 0-4. All those losses are within a touchdown.
I know. And, we sort of have a connection there because it's Coach DeLay,
right,
who was a coach here for a number of years. So you feel for them, even though, of course, we're going to face them down the line, but you feel for them. But, they had, so the school that they're going to face, Rockwall, they've scored 134 points in favor thus far, and they've had pretty formidable opponents. So I don't know. That's going to be a very tough match.
Yeah. And then next week it doesn't get any easier for SGP. They have a road game against Martin.
Oh boy!
So they've got the loss last night, and then they've got a tough matchup again next week. The Colts, they play Mesquite Horn. We were just talking. It looks like at least two of those Mesquite teams are making the rounds with the Arlington teams. Mm-hmm. The Arlington Colts play the Mesquite Horn Jaguars tonight. That's over at Choctaw. The Colts come into the game with a 1-2 record. By the way, if you're listening, you're going to see a whole lot of very low win totals and substantially higher loss totals. The Colts play some really close games. Their one win is 20-17. Their two losses were by a total of 8 points.
Yeah, and that win was against the team that we're going to see tonight against the Vikings. It was in week 1. And so one of the things that this can kind of tell us a lot about, well, number one, told us a lot about what this team the Vikings are going to face is like, but also may tell us something about Arlington High for when we get into district play.
Sure, definitely. Next week, the Arlington Colts travel to Grand Prairie. They play the Gophers. Speaking of the Gophers, I grew up South Grand Prairie area, so I've never been a real big fan of the Blue Gophers. But they host the Lake Dallas Falcons later. Grand Prairie is 0-3. The Colts may play close games. Grand Prairie does not. The total points for and against the Gophers this year, 21-4 and 144 against. The Gophers need to turn it around if they have any hope of a playoff appearance.
And this week is not gonna it's not gonna be any easier or better. The team they're facing has had 104 points scored thus far. So if we go by the tail of the tape, it just doesn't look promising.
Next week, the Gophers begin district play against Arlington High. Should be a pretty challenging game for them as well. Martin Warriors travel to Temple. They've had a really interesting non-district schedule. They go to Temple to play the Wildcats. The Warriors are coming off their first loss of the season against the Allen Eagles, a top 10 team. They've played a really tough out-of-district schedule, looking to rebound against Temple. Any thoughts on the Warriors?
I'm big on traveling.
Sure.
Temple locals will know that at least now, when you talk about Temple, you think about Buc-ee's. One of my daughters was in Corpus Christi for a time, so we traveled south for quite a bit, and that was, the first almost, the stop that you had to make. But the point is that the Temple High School came here, and traveling. Well, when we talked about this last week, they're still traveling on the buses.
Right.
They're still, they're not in the charter jet. Checking into hotels. So, Temple. It's going to be a challenge for them facing a Martin team that's ranked, I think, top 15. In their favor. So. You want to?
So whenever you said that, part of me thought, I don't know, Martin may have a way of getting like, Dan Diapert or something to take him. I don't know. I know that's mean of me to say, but that seems like a very Martin thing to do.
Right.
While the rest of us are taking the school bus, that they've got some kind of charter going in.
You could be right.
Next week, Martin hosts South Grand Prairie. Sam Houston, Sam Houston travels to Dallas Kimball tonight to play the Knights. Sam lost a close game last week, 10-7 to LD Bell. The Texans are 0-3. The Knights are 0-3. Who are you pulling for this week?
I got to go for Sam.
Good.
I got to have some love for Sam. Good Lord. They're just down the street. A couple of principals ago, I used to love their principal and still friends with him, so got to go for them. Not the biggest point differential between them and Dallas Kimball as far as how many points they've scored. So maybe they'll find the first win there in that game.
They've been such a great story the last few years with their soccer team. Of course, their coach passing away last season, but they've been such a good story with that team. I'd like to see them pick up a few wins. Maybe not necessarily against Lamar, but some of these other teams sounds really great.
Yep.
Next week, Sam Houston hosts the Bowie Volunteers. Of course, that game will be at Wildman Field. Speaking of Bowie, Bowie will host Royce City. I think that's the first time I've said that right. They will host Royce City at Wildman Field. Bowie picked up their first win of the season against Plano last week, 34-28. Royce City's 2-1. How do you feel about the Volunteers?
I also want to pull for them. Again, the traveling situation. Royce City is, I always think about, it's right over the bridge over that big lake over there, way East Dallas. So they got to come here. Back in our day, Plano was a powerhouse, and I think it still is. So for them to get a win, at an away game in Plano, I think they have a really good chance of getting the win tonight.
Nice. Next week, Bowie kicks off district play with a game against Sam Houston. That game's going to be at Wildman. Let's take a look at some of the top teams in the state. Westlake and Austin, they are 3-0. Duncanville, 2-0. They may be 3-0. I believe they may be 3-0, but I've got down 2-0 right here. Denton Geyer, they are 3-0. Galena Park, North Shore down in Houston, they are 3-0. Allen. Now Allen's 2-1. Their one loss is to the team out in California.
Yeah.
South Lake Carroll, they are 3-0. Katy is 3-0. DeSoto, they're 2-1. I think their one loss is to the team out of Maryland.
Yes.
So
we were just told that.
Yeah. China Spring, they are 3-0 and number 9. And number 10, I don't think we had them in the top 10 last week. Parish Episcopal, that's a Dallas school. They are 3-0. The reason this is interesting is because tonight they play against South Oak Cliff.
Yeah.
Last year they were the talk.
The reigning champs.
Yeah. However, this year Dallas Episcopal is 3-0, with a chance to go 4-0. South Oak Cliff 0-3.
Yep.
So that's going to be a pretty important matchup between those two schools this evening. A couple other top teams. Martin comes in at 16. South Oak Cliff is number 18, although this may be the death knell if they were to lose one more.
Yeah, for sure.
Highland Park is number 19. Number 20 is Aledo. One other one I wanted to mention is number 25, Prosper. Prosper was a team that played the Vikings last season. They've got a really important game against Denton Geyer tonight. That's a team that if you're able to pull out a win against a really tough Denton Geyer team,
That's the one.
Yeah, that can really move you up the standings, so to speak. Javi, tell us a little bit more about what we're going to talk about at halftime.
We have a real special guest, and I don't want to give too much away, but she's probably one of the most recognized NFL reporters, certainly in our generation, and we're just fortunate she lives here. Sharon Williams will join us then, and really looking forward to that conversation.
Absolutely. And we're hoping, last week we thought the mayor was going to be with us during halftime, and some things changed up, and he was able to go down to the field, and we're glad he was able to do that because he was able to see the coaches, things like that. But hopefully, hopefully Ms. Williams doesn't get asked down to the field and pass us up. But we're looking forward to introducing her to the audience and hearing some stories from her and that type of thing. Javi, as always, thank you very much. I appreciate you being on with me. In just a second, we're going to be joined by Bill Frawley, and he's going to get us kicked off for pregame. Looking out on the field right now, and we've got the Vikings. Do they have a name for this, Javi? What do they call this? Is it just the line? What do they call it?
I should know because I heard it all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a specific formation for the team to come out, but I don't remember, so I better not screw it up.
If the girls are listening, they're going, "Gosh, my dad."
Yeah, one of the girls should be here. I was looking for her, but she's not here. Anyway, there is a name for this formation, but it is for welcoming the team onto the field. So, Richie, thank you, and we'll see you at halftime.
Perfect. Thank you very much. All right, in just a second, Bill is going to get the headphones, and he's going to get us started, let us know about the weather conditions, let us know a little bit more about the game. And as the Vikings are out there, we see Thor. I think Thor is an official mascot now. He's got the hammer and all that type of thing. Drill team is ready. The band has been playing a little bit. The giant blow-up Vikings is out here. And let's see. We've got the Mesquite Skeeters. Their giant blow-up thing is there as well. We see some of the officials starting to take the field. All that being said, we are getting very close to kickoff. I would say about roughly 10 minutes away. Bill, how are you this evening?
Hey, doing great here. It's good to be here back at Cravens Field for another broadcast of Lamar Viking Varsity Football, brought to you by the Lamar Viking Football Booster Club. I'm Bill Frawley, going to be doing the play-by-play tonight. And as you've been listening, hopefully, Richie shared under the headphones to do the color commentary and a great pregame show by Richie and Javier Nehera. Thanks for the rundown on all the games around the area and a little bit of the other background you were able to provide. We have a beautiful evening for football, 89 degrees. Weather.com says feels like 93. I think it feels like 92.4, just myself.
What do they know?
Scattered clouds, no clouds immediately over the field, but clouds kind of to the north and south of us, but a beautiful evening. There's a fairly strong wind blowing the flag that is still at half-staff from the south to the north, slightly to the northwest. But when you're down on the field, there wasn't that much wind, at least earlier. But it should be a great evening for football, no rain in the forecast. Wind, I don't think it's going to make any big difference in the game tonight at all. We have 1 and 2 teams coming up tonight.
Yes.
And it's senior night. Y'all went through a little bit of the senior night stuff, and we just had recognition of the senior football players, cheerleaders, band, other leaders, and that type of thing. Mesquite Skeeters,
That's such a great mascot.
I mean, my goodness gracious. And, there's so many great mascots around Texas.
Yes.
There's the Hutto Hippos.
Yes.
There's just west of Abilene is the Trent Gorillas.
Love it.
And then down in Texas City, the Stingarees.
Okay.
And in New Braunfels, the Unicorns. And then there's a whole host of others. Lots of Panthers, lots
Wampus
of Wildcats.
Cats.
Oh, yeah, the Wampus Cats, true.
Mm-hmm.
And they're right off of I-35. Is that a task? No, I'm trying to remember what school district that is, because they have a billboard. It's somewhere around Itasca if it's not that one. But anyway, so, hey, some things to be looking for tonight from the Mesquite Skeeters. Their quarterback is going to be Tyreek Womack. Now, Tyreek Womack has, I just lost it here. He has thrown for 3 touchdown passes this season. And then the favorite target in the end zone or getting to the end zone is Jamarian Woods. So we'll be listening for his name tonight. The rushing TDs, there's been 4 by Armand Cleaver. And then the leading receiver overall, Jamarian Woods, 112 yards per game. So that's going to be one of the names we should be calling out quite a bit tonight for the receiving core. And then rushing yards per game, about 52.5 yards per game from Armand Cleaver. So, again, in addition to him leading in the touchdowns. On the defensive side of things, going to be looking for some quarterback hurries, some pressure in the backfield. They don't have any official ones yet. So, I don't know if that means they've been playing against some tough offensive lines or what the deal is there. Tackles per game, Tyler Manoy is going to be one of the names that we'll be calling out. He's number 4. We'll be calling him out quite a bit at 7.5 tackles per game. He leads. And then Rodarian Wilson has 7, and Javario Hicks has 6. Now, Richie, when I was looking at the roster that they provided to us,
Yeah.
you know, we've played some pretty big teams, and I mean not just in numbers but size. They have 4 men on their roster listed at over 300 pounds.
Crazy.
Caleb Sims at 315, Quentin
Yes.
Henry at 310, Isaac Hernandez at 320, and Jeremy Sanders at 330.
Yeah.
That's
Those are-
big.
Yeah, those are big humans, you know, and when you put that into, I mean, I'm looking at some of the players. I'm looking at 75 right here, and, you know, that is a huge young man.
Yeah. You know, Javier was saying in y'all's pregame show that, you know, he got most improved. Well, when I was in high school, I was small, but I was slow. And so, but we have a pregame coin toss here coming up. For the Vikings out on the field as the captains tonight, we've got number 0, Derek Bledsoe, number 1, Linnell Cunningham, number 9, Deshaun Wells, and number 70, I believe. Yeah,
170, yes.
Jacob Zacharias. And then for the Skeeters, it's going to be number 15, Karan Jones, number 12, Isaiah Jackson, number 29, Braylon Blair, and number 94, Amari Mitchell.
And, you know, you always tell me this, and they typically do these coin flips ahead of the game, correct?
Yeah, the secret's out of the bag now. The
Yeah,
coaches do
sorry.
that ahead of time. No, that's good. Lamar has won the toss, so they've deferred their choice to the second half. And I'm going to put on my Karnak the Magnificent hat and say
Okay.
that the Skeeters are going to opt to receive the opening kickoff. I'm just going to go out on a limb here. And they are. They'll be defending the north end zone, so moving left to right if you happen to be kind of picturing the field. Again, Friday nights we're not allowed to show the video of the game because of the contract between Arlington Independent School District and NFHS, but we can provide audio and a picture of the scoreboard.
Bill, Mesquite is wearing white jerseys with maroon numbers.
I love the maroon, by the
Yes,
way.
it looks really sharp. And then, of course, tonight's game, Lamar has the gold helmets with all blue jersey and pants with the white numbers with the yellow trim. Looks really sharp as well.
Well, the teams are lining up now behind their respective inflatable tunnels. They're going to come onto the field in a few moments, line up on the sideline, and then we'll have the national anthem, and we'll be ready for kickoff. As we think about this and kind of waiting for them to come out onto the field, Derek Bledsoe III is our leading receiver at 57.7, so about 58 yards per game. And right behind him at 52.5 yards per game, Camonte Williams, and then Jesse Little has 33 yards per game receiving. Robert Brown is so close to the 100 yards per game mark. He's at 91 as a running back. And then Sidney Anderson has about 16, and then Gannon Carey, who has stepped in once or twice, has 11. Now, Gannon is the JV quarterback, but I believe they have him available on reserve if needed.
That group's been really good. Go ahead.
Well, and I just made a major faux pas. Gannon Carey's not on
No,
JV.
no.
He is the sophomore
Yes,
starting
correct.
quarterback.
Starting
That is
quarterback.
just my bad there, so I apologize to Gannon
Well, and let me tell you
his
why
family.
that sometimes comes up. Bill not only does the varsity games on Friday night, but Bill does PA for the freshman games, and a lot of times that's back-to-back games. That's doubleheaders. And then he also does the JV games as well. So we've seen these players, for 2 and 3 years, and not to mention that, but Bill also does a whole lot of stuff with the baseball team. And so some of these young men, not only are they, on a JV team or a freshman team, and Bill has seen them kind of grow up, but he's also seen them over next door on the diamond as well.
Yeah, and so they might be JV over there, varsity
Right,
over here.
true,
And
true.
and I tell you what, Gannon Carey as a sophomore to be the starting quarterback, and he's an incredible young man. I talked to him after the last game, and he was talking about, hey, it can get scary once in a while because those big guys coming after you, they make you run.
That's a really good thing, though, because you have an opportunity to grow that young man into, the junior and senior that can really lead the team.
Definitely so.
Not that you can't win as a sophomore, but boy, that experience looks really good as a junior and a senior.
And I respect a young man that's going to say, I'm not afraid to say it. I was afraid once or twice.
Sure.
But that'll motivate you to go fast. Deshaun Wells is one of our great defenders. He leads the team with tackles per game at just over 11 tackles per game. Then Chris Johnson and Jaden Peterson each have 7 tackles per game. So those are some of the names you're going to be hearing from us. Deshaun Wells, he's also sometimes just born in the backfield. He's got 5 sacks on the season. Linnell Cunningham has 2.
That defense was really good last week. I'd love to. I mean, when you watch the first 2 games, I think the fear is, man, we are going to get blown out by some teams. And 9 points in a high school game, that's saying something. That's really impressive. And the defense really turned that game around last week. 2 huge plays, 2 huge turnovers that led either directly or very shortly into points on the board. And so that defense really stepped up last week.
Well, I like the sign that the players are going to crash through. We're sure going to miss these Friday night lights. And sure enough, the seniors that are, some are going to go on to play college football. And some are not. This will be the last season for them, so kind of a definite thing there.
And I would even say it a different way. Most are not going to go on to play.
True.
You may have a few of them. I mean, a team with they've probably got 75 or 80 kids maybe. You may have 10 that play in some way, shape, or form. And, and I'm not talking about we may not even see them on a Saturday, playing at a local team or a JUCO team or, 1 or 2 may make it to a
D1, D2,
D1,
yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of these guys, if they do want to pursue it, it's going to be, trying to walk on somewhere. And by the way, that goes for the players, that goes for the drill team and the cheerleaders and things like that as well.
And here come the players onto the field. So the Vikings running out behind Thor and the cheerleaders, and the Thor Corps carrying the Lamar flags all the way end zone to end zone. These guys look fired up. Some of them look like really fired up.
Fight song going on.
Yep, and Richie, a little bit smaller crowd than I like to see on the home stands here. I mean, there's a good number of people here, but I hope these folks make a lot of noise and support their team. Very sparse crowd on the far side from Mesquite. Now, everything's relative. We've talked about this in previous seasons, but it's a road trip from Mesquite to here. And, rush hour, it can take an hour or more. But I grew up in West Texas where you were glad if you had an hour road trip to a competitor. They had games that were 3, and the non-district games, you might go from Odessa to El Paso, and that's 300 and something miles.
Wow. Yeah.
And back when the speed limit was 55, those yellow dogs school buses were.
Yeah, an hour long away is still a home game almost,
Yeah. Here comes the national anthem. right, so we just had the national anthem by the Lamar Viking Band. And we are just moments away from kickoff. It's like we said before, 2-1-2 teams. Someone tonight is going to even up their schedule or record on the season, that is, and then be getting ready for district play. Next week, the Vikings have the week off.
Yes.
Following week, they begin district play over at Choctaw Stadium here in Arlington, the old Globe Life Park, and then where the Rangers used to play baseball. And then that will start district play against the Arlington Colts, who are using that as a home stadium for a couple of years. So Robert Duncan, number 34, is going to be the kicker. He's a sophomore. We have a lot of underclassmen.
We do.
Working their way up through the program. And then deep for the Mesquite Skeeters, number 2, Jameer Dewberry, and number 11, Jamarian Woods. You know, last night, Richie, they were having a hard time, both teams, keeping the football on the tee.
Yes.
So far, things are okay here. A short step, it's a pooch kick that's going to be short. It'll be fielded at the 26-yard line. He's going to go to the far side. It's number 80. He breaks one tackle to the 40, and then he's finally taken out of bounds at around the 43-yard line. I believe that was Nehemiah Carroll who took that kickoff at about the 26-yard line thereabouts.
Yeah, not a very long kick, and I think that was intentional. Let's not kick it to the guys that are the best at it, but number 80 fielded it and actually had a pretty good return on that.
You know, I talked to Coach Skinner on the Coaches Show this week, and we talked about kickoff coverage, and that's one area for improvement. And so they're doing some different things to try to minimize the big return. But the Skeeters will start 1st and 10 at their own 42-yard line. They have trips to the right, single to the left. Trips, of course, if you're new to this. 3 receivers, triple receivers to the right. No one in the backfield with the quarterback. Now a man comes in motion to the right of the quarterback. Here's a snap. It's a handoff up the middle to number 6, and he's going to be getting to about the 46-yard line.
25 on the tackle.
Number 25 for the Vikings, Cordell Wilson makes the tackle. The running back was Armand Cleaver for the Skeeters. Quick to the line of scrimmage again, 2nd down and about 6. Here's a snap. Play action, and it's in and out of the hands of the receiver, number 29, Braylon Blair. So that'll be an incomplete pass, and now it's 3rd down and 6. So this is a huge 3rd down early for the Vikings to see if they can stop this short drive.
Even if that ball was caught, I think they were only going to pick up 2 or 3 yards. I mean, a 3rd down and 6 is still a lot harder than a 3rd down and 3 or 4, but that was a short pass, and the receiver just wasn't able to pick it up.
And now the official calls a timeout, and they're bringing number 2, Aaron Fox, off the field for some reason.
Did his helmet come off, maybe?
Maybe it did. I wasn't watching. That's probably a good guess. So trips to the right, single to the left, one in the backfield in the pistol formation. Quarterback keeper to the far side, strings it out,
nice.
And he's only going to get about 3 yards. Number 5, Vaughn Smith, takes him out of bounds, and the defense stands for the Vikings on the initial drive, and that was a quarterback keeper by number 8, Tyreek Womack. So,
Bill, that was a one-on-one play, and the defender was able to get his arms around him and get him out of bounds.
yes.
Use the sideline to his benefit and spin him around outside.
Definitely so. So, punt formation coming up for the Skeeters. Never know what will happen, or even early in a game at times. I assume it'll be a punt.
One back for the Vikings.
We'll get his number in a minute when he decides to turn towards us. Here's the snap. The kick is up. It's a short kick, and it's underspin, if you will. Takes a sideways bounce at the 31-yard line. Deep for the Vikings was number 24.
Yes.
10 was a punter.
Cooper Barnard. The punter is number 10, Sermaje Wallace. He's also the backup quarterback.
So a good hold. You know, we talked about some defensive plays. Good hold early on. They had really good field position and really weren't able to do much with it at all.
Definitely so. So 1st and 10 for the Vikings at their own 29-yard line. They come out with trips to the right, single left, one in the backfield to the left of the quarterback, Gannon Carey. Here's the snap. He bobbles it. He rolls to his right. He throws toward the sideline, but it's out of the reach of the intended receiver, and he's tackled down even after the play was over, that's Derek Bledsoe, the intended receiver, number 30, is the defender. I'm sorry?
30 was almost sacked 30.
That they're back in the lineup.
Second
ready to
down
go.
and 10. Twins to the right, single left, one in the backfield. Gannon Carey, the quarterback. Play clock at 5. Here's the snap. Handoff. It'll come around to this side. Number 4, Robert Brown. He gets to about the 31 before his forward progress is stopped.
He picked up a couple yards. I think that's all it's going to be.
Yep, third down and 8 at the 31-yard line. Vikings come back to the line of scrimmage fairly quickly. And again, trips to the right, single to the left, Robert Brown to the left of the quarterback, Gannon Carey. Now a new play being called in from the side. And now there's a flag on the play.
18 jumped just a little bit early. All it takes is just a little bend of the knee, and that's all it was.
Yeah, and if you appear to be set, and then what happens is they bring a new play in from the sideline, and that can throw things off. So situational awareness is what we'll chalk that one up to. So now it goes to third down and 13 for the Vikings. Robert Brown goes in motion to the far side. Carey keeps it up the middle. Looked like a hole was beginning to form. And it looks like number 24 was in on the tackle, Taylor Huey. And number 7 was out there also, Jeremiah Caesar. So the Vikings now have to punt it away, and they actually are going to end up with positive yardage rushing, but that 5-yard penalty sets them back behind the sticks.
You know, I want to point out something. The official saw number 3 on the defensive side pull a guy down.
24
There's the punt.
Not a very good punt. It goes out of bounds.
Boy, I think they're going to have it.
Let's see where they're going to have it. Oh, it is for sure. It's going to be inside the 45 at the 45-yard line in Viking territory. So a high, short, and then shanked it over to the left sideline. So,
Bill, as I was saying earlier, he was talking to the young man, and it was kind of the two sides were pushing. And I'm so glad that he went to them and said, listen, he was obviously telling them, you got to knock that off. Because we've seen so many games that get testy real early, and you wind up seeing guys with 15-yard penalties. Hopefully that settles things down just a bit.
Hopefully so, because there were some extra throwing around out there.
There was.
So the Skeeters, 1st and 10 at the Viking 45, Twins to the left, single to the right, one in the backfield. Now the left receiver comes in motion to this side. Handoff to number 6. He'll be caught in the backfield by number 24, Cooper Barnard, and he is fired up. He's ready. You know, we've called his number quite a bit.
A lot.
I call him like a headhunter.
Yep.
I mean, he at that linebacker position, defensive back, he just moves around, and now he's going to set up like he could go in for a corner blitz, if you will.
Well, that stand-up position, you cannot let that guy get on the outside, and he didn't.
So a loss of 3 yards, 2nd and 13. Twins left, Twins right. Cleaver in the backfield with the quarterback, Womack.
Let's see if they run the other direction this time, run away from him.
Here's a snap, steps straight back, throws over the middle, intercepted by the Vikings, number 8, Deshaun Wells to the 35 to the 30, and he gets all the way down. Christopher Johnson.
Quarterback brought him down, but it was number 8.
My bad, I said Deshaun Wells, number 8, Christopher Johnson, and the quarterback had to chase him down and make the touchdown-saving tackle.
Bill, he's a linebacker that dropped back into coverage and simply read the play. Quarterback kind of telegraphed it just a little bit, stepped in front of the pass, and gained some significant yardage as well, all the way down to the Viking 25.
So 1st and 10 for the Vikings at the Skeeter 25-yard line. I just love saying that.
It's fun.
I got bit by a couple of Skeeters earlier this week out in my backyard.
Let's hope the Vikings don't get bit by the Skeeters.
There you go. Twins left, single right. Robert Brown in the backfield to the left of Gannon Carey. Now Brown goes in motion to the far side. Gannon steps straight back, throws to the corner over toward the end zone. Oh, just out of the reach of number 13, Camonte Williams. That was so close to a touchdown.
Bill, that's about as far away from us as possible.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he had caught it, if he was going to be able to stay in bounds. But it was a really close play there on the sideline.
I believe number 4, Tyler Manoy, was one of the defenders over there with him. Second down and 10 for the Vikings. Trips to the left, single to the right. Robert Brown in the backfield to the left of Carey. Now a new play comes in again from the sideline. 11 seconds on the play clock. Plenty of time. Just silence until they see. There's a snap. Brown takes it up the middle, bounces off of his own guy. Now he's pushing ahead, getting some help. And I'll tell you, one of the big guys helping him out down there for the Vikings, number 70, Jacob Zacharias, the senior and the captain tonight.
91 on the tackle.
Number 91 makes the tackle, Jaden Edwards.
As a running back, one of the things you've got to do is keep your feet moving. And that's exactly what he does. Just keep churning, keep
4-yard
churning.
gain, third down and 6 now. Twins left, twins right. And you're right about driving those legs, Richie. Now another new play comes in from the sideline.
It's like groundhogs that are all kind of come up at once. And,
Meerkats.
yes, the meerkats.
Allen.
The meerkat offense.
Robert Brown to the left of Carey, the quarterback. Still twins on each side. Now Carey calls a timeout.
Yeah.
And sometime I need to ask Coach Skinner, because I'm truly curious. The calling in a play from the sideline so many of the times, is that planned? Is it seeing something? I need to remember to ask him about that on the coaches show this week.
I don't know if he's going to tell you or not, but, when you have a 40-second clock or whatever, at what point does the quarterback need to look over, or, at what point is it, hey, we're going to run what we have,
Sure enough. Linnell Cunningham comes into the huddle. Coming out of the huddle is Jalen Humbles.
Bill, this is a pretty big play. I know it's still 8.5 minutes to go in the 8 minutes and 15 seconds in the first quarter, but you got a turnover. You've got the momentum. Can you pick up the extra first down and score?
And all right, here's something else about this sophomore quarterback, Gannon Carey. He's a leader. He's telling one of the players, hey, no, you're supposed to be over there.
Right.
Incredible leadership out of a sophomore. Brown comes in motion to this side. Carey steps back, throws over the middle, and it's batted down, almost intercepted by number 91, Jaden Edwards.
That was a middle screen right there, and everything was fine. You just had a good defensive play by 91. Man.
It's like throwing into an oak tree.
Goodness gracious. That's Jaden Edwards, 265 pounds. It says 6'2", but he must be wearing heels because he looks taller than 6'2".
Well, they're going to set up for a field goal attempt here. Robert Duncan puts the tee at about the 29-yard line, so a 39-yard field goal attempt. The snap, the hold, the kick is up. It's got plenty of leg. Does it stay true? And it just goes left, unfortunately. He had plenty of leg.
Yep.
But unfortunately, just before the uprights, it went to the left, curved a little bit, so.
Well, Mesquite had a good stand right there. They were able to keep him from picking up the first down. And so, it goes back over on downs, and let's see goes back over on the turnover on the missed field goal. So let's see if the defense can come back out again. Defense has played so well these last two games. Really kept the Vikings into the game.
Definitely. So when you hold the team last week to 9 points.
Yes, absolutely.
That's
and
incredible.
I don't care who you're playing in high school football. 9 points is fantastic.
All right, so the Skeeters come out at their own 21-yard line, 1st and 10. Twins right, single left. The snap. Handoff around the left side. He's got to the 25.
Number 8 brought him down. 12 running, 8 tackles.
Christopher Johnson made the tackle for the Vikings. The running back was Isaiah Jackson for the Skeeters.
Just went off tackle, and Lamar was able to flood the field and make sure to.
Second down and 6 for the Skeeters. Twins to the right, single to the left. Jackson in the background with the quarterback Womack. Here's a snap. Handoff to Jackson. Comes around this end. He is met toughly by number 8 again. I'll tell you what, Christopher Johnson made a tackle on the right side for the defense. Now he makes one on the left side.
Was Johnson our person that made the interception?
And Johnson's one that made the interception. He was filling up the water cooler earlier. He was taping ankles. The guy does it all. Third down and 3.
I hear he's baking cookies for after the game.
I sure hope they're good. 16 seconds on the play clock. The Skeeters getting their offensive situation figured out, 3rd and 3. They got to get to the 31-yard line.
Single coverage up
Man
on top.
comes in motion, takes a handoff on the jet sweep around the far side. He's being pursued. He'll have the first down, and he gets to about the 40-yard line. So he had the first down and more. Let's see where they say he stepped out of bounds.
9 pushed him out.
Number 9, Deshaun Wells, pursued him and pushed him out of bounds, and the ball is at the 38-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10. That may be the first down of the game for either offense, actually.
You may be right. Yeah, I think you are.
Now the Skeeters come out, trips to the right, single to the left, pistol formation. Here's a handoff to the right side, and he's wrapped up in the backfield by Cooper Barnard again. Man, Cooper Barnard has had 2 tackles for losses tonight.
Boy, he came like he was shot out of a gun on that one. That was fantastic. Just right around the corner.
Definitely was. Loss of about 1 yard on the play, so 2nd down and 11.
And by the way, he was set up on the opposite side than the running back was going, so he had a long way to go.
Center fielder for the baseball team, by the way.
Yeah.
Here's a hand. No, it's going to be a bootleg from the quarterback, rolling to the far side. Gets a little pressure. Completed at the 40 to the 50, and he'll get down to about the 43-yard line.
14 on the tackle.
Number 14, Deontay Gentry. And I want to say hey to Deontay's dad, Mr. Gentry. I've gotten to know him a little bit on Thursday nights working concessions and stuff. Great guy.
Bill, that's a tough play because you make the defensive back make a decision. Am I going to stay with the receiver or go in after the quarterback?
1st and 10 for the Skeeters in the pistol. It's a handoff to number 27. Brought down in the backfield, and this time it's going to be number 33 making the tackle in the backfield, Ryan Boyer. So, excuse me?
32.
Oh, excuse
32,
me.
yeah.
Number 32, Damian Brown, my bad. I thought I saw a 33. Now it's going to be 2nd down and 14 for the Skeeters at the Viking 47-yard line. Now they tighten things up a little bit with their formation. Twins to the right, single left, tight end off the line. Here's a snap. Throws to this side. It's caught at the 43. Immediate contact. He'll get to the 40, so shy of the first down, and that's going to be number 7, Braylon Cole, that makes the tackle for the Vikings.
Caught by number 5.
Number 5 was the receiver, David Robinson, for the Skeeters. Now 3rd down and 7 at the 40-yard line. Now number 27, Deviron Edmond, he was in the game. He's going to go off to the sideline. Empty backfield, trips left, Twins right. 6 on the play clock, a new play called in from the sideline. 3 on the play clock. Here's a snap just in time, steps back. There's a hole up the middle, and he'll be shy of the first down. And it looks like number 8 and number 9, that'll be Deshaun Wells, number 9, and number 8, Christopher Johnson making the tackle.
They've made quite a few plays. 8's all over the place tonight.
Yes.
Him and Barnard have just been
Barnard.
fantastic. Barnard. He's been both of those boys have been fantastic tonight.
So 4th down and 2 for the Skeeters. The line of scrimmage at 37. If they want to kick a field goal, it's a 52-yarder. So it's going to be a punt situation for them. No one deep for the Vikings yet.
I think they're saying they think that this is going to be some type of a fake.
He does get the kick away. It's end over end, rolls inside the 5, and it's going to go into the end zone. Number 27 for the Skeeters, Deviron Edmond, he tried to kind of bat it back into the field to play from the end zone, but it rolls into the end zone, and that'll bring it out to the 20-yard line for the Vikings, 1st and 10. So another good defensive stand for the Vikings. No score, 3:49 to go in the first quarter. See if the Vikings can get some offense fired up here at this point in the game. Twin receivers to the right, single to the left, pistol formation with number 15, Sidney Anderson, in the backfield behind Gannon, the quarterback. Here's a snap. Gannon rolls out to his right, throws to the far sideline, is caught by Derek Bledsoe at about the 24-yard line. They'll give him the 26.
23 on the tackle.
Number 23 makes the tackle, Bobby Raleigh O'Neal.
Outstretched catch, really nice catch, was hit immediately, but making that catch sets up a very makeable second down.
Second and about 5 yards. Well, yeah, it's about 4.5 yards. The chains were stretched in a weird place. You can't go beyond the 30 with the chains when the line of scrimmage was the 20 on the touchback. Twins left, single right. One in the backfield in the pistol formation. Here's a snap. Handoff straight up the middle, and he's met at the middle by number 30, Preston Ndukwe. The running back, number 15, Sidney Anderson, one of our junior players.
You know, Bill, in prior weeks, we've said we'd like for them to run up the middle more. This might be one of those weeks where going to the outside may be a little more beneficial.
Especially when you have some guys either approaching or beyond 300 pounds.
Yep, just huge.
So third down and about 4.5 yards for the Vikings at their own 25.5-yard line.
And right now they've got 4 down linemen and 2 linebackers right behind them. They're playing the run.
Here's the snap. Handoff. No, it's a keeper by Gannon. He goes over the right tackle. He's going to dive forward shy of the first down. He'll get to about the 28-yard line. Nope, 27-yard line. So 3 yards shy. It'll bring up 4th down and 3.
Single number 11 back deep. That's Jamarian Woods.
Now, interesting note, sorry to interrupt you.
Sure.
We have 4 receivers off to the left side and only 1 defender over there. Cooper, now there's a flag on the play. Someone must have jumped. No, I don't think that's illegal formation. I think they're pulling the flag back, and that's horrible.
No, that's horrible.
That they call a penalty, stop the game.
Up.
They had it set up. That's horrible officiating.
Goodness
Because
gracious.
they had 1 receiver stacked. Here's the snap to kick. It's a line drive end over end. It's picked up at the 37, 38-yard line, and he's met immediately, goes backwards, and there's a 4th of the Viking team, if not half of them, all over him. And we're going to say the last guy up there, number 44, is going to get credit for the tackle along with the others. Ransom Burns, another baseball player. And Ransom is, I don't have favorites, but if there were, he'd be one of my favorites. He's just been real nice to me every time over at the baseball field.
The good thing is we don't have anyone listening to us, so no one will ever know.
Exactly. But Ransom, man, he was all over there and, getting up on the bottom of that pile with a bunch of your teammates on top.
Boy, back to that play. I don't know if they were going to call a fake or not, but it was set up for it.
Yeah. 1st and 10 for the Skeeters. Twins left, single right. Here's a snap. Handoff up the middle, bounces over the left tackle, rolls around, kind of barrel rolls, and he's going to get to the 42-yard line. So that'll be a 4-yard gain to Sean Wells. Looks like he might have been the leader on that tackle effort.
You know, you touched on this earlier in the pregame show, Bill. They only have 3 passing touchdowns on the year, and so far everything's been run.
Twins right, single left, 1 in the backfield. Here's a snap, handoff. He bounces off his own man in the backfield. He's going to get met at the line of scrimmage, maybe get 1 yard. And Cooper Barnard again on leading the tackle effort. We've seen him tackle in the backfield, tackle to the left, the right, and now up the middle. And that's going to bring up 3rd down and 4 at their own 44-yard line. Got to get to the 48.
You know, the last few runs they've run away from him. That one they ran towards him and, stopped really short.
Twins right, single left, 1 in the backfield. Here's the snap. Steps back to throw. Throws way down on the left sideline. Both people turning around. Oh no. Man, that is no, because number 5, our defender down there, Vaughn Smith, he turned around to make a play on the ball early.
Number 9 is the intended receiver.
The intended receiver is number 9, Elijah Basa. I just got to say, no, that's not interference when you turn around and you're making a play for the ball. It was a toss-up whose ball that was.
I know he's closer to the play than we are. I just didn't see any, obvious pass interference.
No, he didn't hold him, grab his shirt, and he turned around to make a play.
Yep, I totally agree.
I have to say that's the second blown call tonight.
And the ball hit him right in the back. I mean,
yeah.
So.
Well, 1st and 10 after the 15-yard penalty. It's at the 41-yard line in Viking territory.
A lot of movement on that line.
Here's a snap, handoff around the left tackle. He's going to have the 1st down and more at the 30, still on his feet, 25. Pushes forward, meets some Vikings at about the 21-yard line. Nice run there. I believe that was number 6, the ball carrier, Armand Cleaver, and a plethora of Vikings over there to stop him eventually at the 21-yard line. So that was a 20-yard run and sets him up 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line. Trips to the right, single left, pistol formation. Here's a snap. Handoff up the middle. It's number 6 again to the 10, 5, and he'll get into the end zone. And do not do that. Don't tackle in the end zone, please. Don't need that stuff. And the new score 6-0 in favor of Mesquite. So a pair of like a 20-yard run and then a 21-yard run, both by Armand Cleaver.
Bill,
and then the touchdown.
Just some power running, really. I mean, you looked on that drive. They did throw the one ball really deep that basically gave them 15 yards on the first down. But other than that, everything was a run.
Yep, and I think they're finding the weakest spot, if you will. There's an extra point kick. It's up, and it's good. Number 81 is doing the extra point kicking, Saul Barco for the Skeeters. The new score, Mesquite 7, Lamar 0, 7 seconds left in the first quarter. That is the biggest drive of the game. And 2 power runs, like y'all were saying, just right there at the end, the 20-yard and then the 21-yard touchdown, both by Armand Cleaver.
Yeah, them saying we think that we can run better than you can stop us, and they were able to do it. Stopped them on a few of the plays, but several of those plays they were able to get big chunks of yardage. They were able to get a lot of yards all at once. So that particular drive, 62 total yards, 2 runs, 1 pass play that was a huge pass interference call against the Vikings. The time of possession is only 58 seconds, and the 15-yard, the 22-yard run there for the score. 7-0, Mesquite. 7 seconds left to go in the first quarter.
Deep for the Vikings on the kickoff. Number 1, Linnell Cunningham on the right-hand side and number 15, Sidney Anderson, back inside the 10 to 5-yard line.
They're expecting a big booming kick.
It's a short kick, and it's going to be fielded at the 25-yard line. He comes to this side at the 30, breaks a tackle. It's Robert Brown to the 40, and he pushes his way forward to about the 44, 45-yard line. So about a 20-yard return or so for Robert Brown, who did a good job following some blockers and finding a crease as he came across from the far hash marks to this sideline.
Defensive player thought he was going to get a pretty good lick, and I think he got more than the runner did on that.
Yeah, because Robert Brown leaned in like a good running back would.
Absolutely.
So 1st and 10 for the Vikings at their own 45-yard line. 2 ticks on the clock for the quarter. So this will be the, barring some kind of penalty, this will be the last play of the quarter. Twins right, single left. Brown in the backfield, pistol formation behind Gannon. Now the tight end switches from right to left. Here's a snap. Brown takes the handoff over the right tackle. He's going to push forward. He gets to about the 50-yard line, so 5-yard gain. And it was the mayor last week, I think, that said one time his heart was driving as hard as his legs.
Love it, yes.
And I'm going to give Mayor Ross credit for that because that is a great saying.
Shout out to Mayor Ross. How about that?
Now, 2 officials talking about something at the 50-yard line.
Probably to determine if it's going to be on the Mesquite 50 or on the Lamar 50.
Could be.
Flip them around.
Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about. Man, I still go back to that flag that gets called on, that's just
They don't score if it's
That's just a frustrating call because at that point there were 5 receivers with 1 defensive back.
4 receivers on this side,
Excuse me, 4 with
3
1
on the
defensive
line
back,
and 1 stacked,
And, a play like that, goodness gracious, not only can you get a first down, but you may be able to score on something like that.
So the shortest ever transformation of where the ball goes from one quarter to the other.
Tied for the shortest.
It goes to one edge of the 50 to the other edge of the 50. So at the 50.4 yard line, no, 50.2 yard line. Twins left, single right, 1 in the backfield. Here's a snap. It's a pitch on the jet sweep coming this way. Bledsoe to the 50, tucks around, and he'll pick up about.
They're going to give him 2.
That was number 0 on the carry.
Yeah, Derek Bledsoe came out of the receiver slot on the jet sweep to this side to the 48-yard line.
I say this every week, Bill. He's such a magical player. They want to get him the ball in space. He's got fantastic speed, and that was an opportunity to give him the ball.
3rd down and 3 for the Vikings at the Skeeter 48-yard line.
That makes me smile every time you
well,
say it.
you say ski, you smile. I think they did that on purpose. You smile when you say it. All right, quick to the line of scrimmage. Everyone's packed in tightly. One in the backfield. Now some people go in motion. They spread it out. Twins trips to the right, single left. Now Brown goes in motion. Empty set. Pass over the middle, and it's caught, but just shy of the first down.
Yeah, just shy.
And I'm trying to see who caught that ball because number 19 made the catch, and that's Jalen Humbles, another baseball player.
He was.
So 4th down and 1, and I can see the Vikings maybe going for it here.
At the very least, let's see if you can draw them off sides or something.
Yeah.
They're gonna go up to the line really quick.
Here's a snap. Oh, it's going to be a first down. Robert Brown breaks free at the 35-30, 25-20, 15-10, 5. Touchdown, the direct snap to Robert Brown. And that is a beautiful 46-yard touchdown run on 4th and 1.
Bill, they set up that play with the play before. They were set up in a wildcat formation, went out of it into a standard formation. That time they didn't move out of it and were able to pick up the big yardage.
Well, now the score 7-6, waiting for the Robert Duncan Randall Mill Pharmacy extra point. We got one more lineman coming up to fill out what we need there. 19 seconds on the play clock.
34 to kick.
Now it's a direct snap, and that's going to be a 2-point conversion. Cooper Bernard takes a direct snap, and he runs it through the right guard, and now the Vikings take a lead 8-7.
What a play.
It was
yeah, go ahead.
It was interesting because Cooper Bernard was kind of lined up where he would be to take a snap for a hold, but he's not usually the holder, I don't think.
But, they don't know that.
Right. And because the first touchdown they've seen from it's the first extra point.
He may be a backup holder or something like that, and so nothing out of the ordinary. Drive started at the 45-yard line, total yards 55, a run, a pass, and then the really long run to score the touchdown. Only 47 seconds off the board, 1 first down. And your score is Lamar 8, Mesquite 7. Fantastic play. You've got the Wildcat-type play on back-to-back plays and successful with it.
For the 41-yard touchdown by Robert Brown and then the direct snap Wildcat to Cooper Bernard. And he's got some height. And then he just barrels forward and the line breaks a hole, and on that right side, man, I hate to guess because we have the two deep chart, but it was probably Martinez and Lucas that were helping there. All right, so now ready for the kickoff. Robert Duncan to kick. And I just love the drum beats of the band after a touchdown and in the stands all the time. The kick is up, fielded at the 15 on the far side to the 20, 25, 30, 35, out to about the 36-yard line, give or take. We'll find out where they spotted.
2 and 11 were back deep. Jameer Dewberry and Jamarian Woods were back deep.
Dewberry made the return. And a few Vikings were in there to close the lane. He got out to the 37-yard line, so it'll be 1st and 10 for the Skeeters at their own 37.
And look and Cooper's back on the field again.
Yeah.
Hey, give me more, Coach. Give me more.
Put me in, Coach. I'm ready to play.
Right.
Twins left, twins right. Pistol formation for the Skeeters. The snap. Throws to the far flat. He gets the catch. 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 25. He's going to score a touchdown.
36, 14 plus 14.
Listen.
Approximately a one-play drive of 63 yards.
And look, it's a score and all that kind of stuff. One of the things that drives me crazy, and officials don't call it, you cannot block. When that ball is being thrown there and the defender was coming in to make the play and he's getting blocked, you can't do that. And the official doesn't call it, but it's a long touchdown for the Skeeters.
Well, all of a sudden, after 2 offensive plays in a row with touchdowns, 13-8, waiting for the extra point. The kick is up. It's through the uprights. It's good. The new score, Mesquite 14, Lamar 8.
Okay, here we go.
Frustrating because you feel like you have some of that momentum going your direction, and boy, it turns really, really quickly. Just a quick screen pass over to the flat, and the receiver turns on the burners and races up the field.
I'll challenge you to summarize that drive in 10 words or less.
10 words or less. Let's see. 63 yards, 1 pass play, 8 Lamar, Mesquite 14.
10 words. Way to go, Richie.
Boy. Well, if we wanted offense, we've had plenty
Well,
of it.
this could turn into a track meet and
Sure.
see who wears out the quickest. But I'll tell you, that 2-point conversion early by the Vikings could be a big player or big key in this game. Back deep for the Vikings, it looks to be
15.
Sidney Anderson, number 15, and Linnell Cunningham, number 1.
Long drives.
The kicker is number 81, Sol Barco. He's got a short set, so he's only going to take about 2 steps. He does. Kicks that ball to the far sideline. Fair catch being called and made at the 33-yard line by number 23, Jermaine LeBlanc.
Smart play. There's a reason that he's there and he's not further back. Knew his limitations, and I tell you what, if he hadn't called a fair catch, he was going to get hit pretty hard.
He was going to meet someone very intimately from the Skeeters.
Not in a good way.
Correct. Ball's at the 34-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10. Do they have a 66-yard play in their pocket? Twins left, twins right. One in the backfield to the left of Gannon Carey, the quarterback. Man in motion. Gannon steps back, keeps around the left end. He's going to be almost 1 yard shy of the first down to the 43-yard line.
Brought by
Yeah, flag on the play, that's usually in the area of
That's in
holding.
the backfield. I'd have missed that flag. So it's holding against the Vikings. That'll bring the 8-yard run back.
0 on the tackle.
The official threw it pretty emphatically.
Jamarian Williams made the tackle, but it's all for naught now. Yeah, that's interesting.
He's got the official's got a pretty good arm on him
He threw that flag with purpose.
with purpose.
All right, so it's going to be 1st down and 20 for the Vikings at their own 24-yard line. If you're not good at math, they got to get to the 44-yard line. Twins to the right, twins left. One in the backfield to the right of Carey, the quarterback. Now a man comes in motion. Here's a snap, steps back. He's got time, throws deep to this side, turns around. Oh, must have hit the ground. Almost intercepted
That's number
by number 1, Radarian Wilson. Intended, I believe, for number 8.
Yes.
Well, 0. That's intended to Bledsoe.
0.
Yeah, intended for 0. Intended for Bledsoe. Bill, should he have? I think he should have thrown
Oh,
that
my
ball
bad.
just
I had the 0 from the wrong team.
Okay. Yeah, I think he should have. I think he should have thrown that ball just a little bit early. Kind of directed it that direction.
Oh, and thanks to Jay Ryan showing me that we have a new quarterback in, number 12, Devin Ravel.
Interesting.
Thank you, Jay Ryan.
Oh, false start.
False start. Oh, yeah, number 6 is over here on the bench.
Interesting. Well, I didn't think about this, but there may be a reason that you're running some Wildcat. I see a little bit of a limp.
Yeah, a little bit of
Javi, we seen a limp?
Yep, a little bit.
Devin Ravel had some sub-varsity experience. He's a junior,
Yes.
also plays baseball. Here's a snap, steps back. He's got pressure, throws over the middle, and it's going to be incomplete. Believe it was intended for 12? No, I'm sorry,
15.
15.
What a
12 being the
difference.
quarterback.
What a difference a penalty makes, because you had a first down or a second down and 1. With the penalty, you're way out of that.
But then you got to wonder, would they have made that without having the holding call?
Sure. Yeah.
3rd down and call Uber for the Vikings.
That's number 6.
Trips to the right, single to the left. Ravel takes a snap, Throws immediately to this side to Anderson. He's at the 12-15. Spins around, gets up to about the 18 or 19-yard line. Number 25 makes the tackle, Radavian Wilson. And that's going to bring up punt situation for the Vikings.
Watching Kerry on the sideline, he looks hurt. He's walking around. It looks like he's trying to kind of shake it off a little bit. Let's hope that he can get back in the ball game.
Fourth down and 20 at their own, or 25, I should say. Here's the snap. Gets the punt off. Line drive. It's received at the 49-yard line. Goes across midfield. He fights getting tackled, but finally does get taken down at the 42-yard line, 43-yard line in Viking territory.
That's 28 on the tackle.
Number 28 made the tackle, Jad Darkazali. First time we've called that wonderful name tonight. I love that name, Jad Darkazali.
Pretty good field position for Mesquite. 9.5 minutes left to go in the half. So to get a stop right here, I think would be really important. You'd like for this score to either be the same or for Lamar to get back into it a little bit.
Trips left, single right, one in the backfield. Here's the snap. Handoff up the middle. Gets to about the 40, maybe leans over to the 39-yard line for a 3-yard gain. Second down and 7 at the 39. Sets up quickly, trips left, single right again. One in the backfield to the left of Womack, the quarterback. Showing possible corner blitz here. Quarterback points to something and looks over to the sideline. New play called in. Here's a snap. Pass to this side. Intercepted at the 35 to the 40. And he moves up, and that is going to be, again, Christopher Johnson, his second interception of the game.
And you know what? I think that's the same play. I'm telling you, that's the same play, Bill. He simply saw that it was a pass play, dropped it back into coverage, and the quarterback didn't see him. Steps in, makes the catch, and picks it off. Fantastic play.
Wow.
Boy, there's again that momentum, changing the momentum. Get the offense back up out there. Let's see what happens.
First and 10 for the Vikings. Thank you, Christopher Johnson, at their own 49-yard line. Gannon Carey back out on the field. Good eye. Pistol formation. I think it's Robert Brown, number 4, behind him.
Believe so.
Man in motion to this side of the tight end. Here's a snap. Handoff to Brown, comes around this end 50, breaks to the way 45, leaps over a guy, gets down to the 40-yard line before he's spun down. And number 15 for the Skeeters needs to settle himself down because he actually kind of released that guy a little toughly out of bounds. And then he's kind of mouthing off out of bounds also on the Viking sideline, which is not a wise thing to do, but wisely. The Vikings stayed away from him and didn't react. First and 10 for the Vikings at the Skeeter 40. Here's a snap. Handoff again to this side. Robert Brown to the 35-30. 25 finally taken out of bounds at about the 21-yard line. Number 3 rode him out that time, Dalton Martin.
What they're doing right now is they're going way outside of the tackle box, and those big guys in the middle steering clear of them, trying to block them in the center so that there's space on the outside.
First and 10, 22-yard line, pistol formation. Brown behind Carey. It's another handoff to Brown. This time he goes up. Now he bounces off, comes around the end. He's met by number 22, Jiva Rio Hicks, and a couple of other Skeeters.
Looks like no gain on the play. Similar run, not quite as far outside.
Yeah, he went around off the right tackle, bounced off, and then tried to string it out further. And by that time, that cornerback, number 22, was able to come up and make that tackle, Hicks.
You know, sometimes, Bill, you see a hole, and then it closes, and you say, oh, I need to move. And that's looks like what he had to do.
Second down and 10, twins to the left, single to the right.
10 seconds.
Brown behind Carey in the pistol. 5 on the play clock. 2 on the, here's the snap. No, I'm sorry, it's number 1, Linnell Cunningham. He goes up the middle and gets a touchdown on the 22-yard play. Holy cow, Linnell Cunningham went over the left guard, and that offensive line, Richie, they busted a hole.
They did, and I'm not sure he got touched on that play. And that's a play right up the middle.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't get touched.
So now the score is tied 14-all.
Similar setup to what they had last time. Let's see if the Skeeters are wise.
There is a tee at the 10-yard line, but they're not really set up to. Now Cooper Barnard comes back in position to get the snap, and he holds the ball. The kick is up, splits the uprights, and the new score. The Vikings take the lead 15-14, 7:46 to go in the second quarter. Richie, just like you said, what a great shift of momentum.
Yeah, football is so much about momentum. All it takes is a big play. It takes a turnover. It takes a penalty. It takes a big hit. And you had a few of those things on that particular last couple drives, really. 3 running plays, 1 first down made, total yards 51, and finishes with that long run, virtually untouched into the end zone. Lamar 15, Mesquite 14. I like that score better than what it was a few minutes ago.
And you know what I like about that drive? Robert Brown around the right.
Yeah.
Robert Brown around the right. Robert Brown around the right.
Can I
Linnell
use your line?
Cunningham up the middle.
Can I use your? What can Brown do for you?
There you go. There you go. You beat
Fantastic.
me to it.
I don't get the opportunity. You're usually so
No,
quick
that's
with
cool.
these, Bill.
Don't worry
so
about
every
it.
once in a while, I got to steal one.
No problem. It's a team effort.
Fantastic.
Answering
Yeah.
that age-old question.
And earlier, I'm sitting there saying, "Hey, we need to go outside." They go up the middle and they score. So
Duncan set up for a short kickoff again. Only 2 yards off the tee. 1-2 steps. It's a pooch kick. It's fielded and fallen to the ground at the 38-yard line. And again, number 36 that time for the Skeeters. Square off block. But then just pushes off at the end of the play. It's unnecessary. It's nothing. No one hurt. No one. But it's just swagger's one thing, but trying to get away with every little stupid thing you can. I just don't get it.
And look, the last thing you and I want is for this to be 15-yard penalties this way
Exactly.
and that way. We don't want that. But what I do want is for the officials to say, knock that off. Don't do it again. If I see it again, it's going to be a flag. And we said earlier that he said that, so now they need to follow
First
through.
and 10 for the Skeeters at their own 38-yard line. Twins left, single right, one in the backfield with Womack, the quarterback. The snap, handoff over the left guard. He's met at the line of scrimmage. He's going to go forward for about 2.5, maybe 3 yards.
I think it was led by number 8.
And it looks like Christopher Johnson again leading the tackle effort possibly.
41.
So it'd be 2nd down and 7 at the 41-yard line. 7:23 to go in the half. Clock is rolling. Twins right, single left, pistol formation. The snap. Handoff to number 27 around the right end. He's going to bust up for a first down at about the 48-yard line. It's going to be real close. I think, they're saying he's right on the yard to make the line to make. And so it'll be 1st and 10 for the Skeeters at their own 48-yard line.
Bill, I want to point something out real quick because you touched on it in the pregame show. They're running right up the middle. After this play, let me tell you why.
Twins right, single left. They're setting up for a pistol formation with number 27, DeViron Edmond, in the backfield. Here's the snap. Handoff. Goes to the left side. He's met, and he's going to be brought down
24.
inside Viking territory by number 24, Cooper Barnard, and number 14, Deontay Gentry.
Gave him 4 yards.
2nd down and 6.
Let me give you the weights of their offensive linemen. 250, 250, 280, and 310.
I bet 310 is the left tackle.
They've got
Twins
some
left,
pretty big
twins
kids.
right, pistol
Kids in there.
formation. Man in motion. The snap. Handoff again around the left end. He tucks his shoulder. Barnard again there, as well as number 95, Damian Sanchez.
Number 25.
Also number 25 in there, Cordell Wilson. The ball carrier again that time was number 27, Edmond. He goes off the field, take a breather. 3rd down and 3 for the Skeeters at the Viking 45. Here's a big play for both teams. Twins to the right, one of them way out by the sideline, one on the right hash mark. The ball is being snapped from the left hash mark. 6 in the backfield with the court. Bad snap, it's on the ground. He's going to get swarmed in the backfield. Number 6, Armand Cleaver picked up the bad snap. And did you say number 8?
Yes.
Number Christopher Johnson
Boy, he's
again.
everywhere.
Born in the backfield, swarming Cleaver as he picks up the loose ball that the quarterback, Womack, couldn't handle.
Bad snap, just came out low, and the quarterback wasn't able to recover it.
So 4th down and 9 for the Skeeters at their own 49-yard line. Cooper Bernard deep to return for the Vikings, standing at his own 9-yard line.
What can't he do?
I don't know.
I mean,
I've never seen him play ice hockey. I don't know that he can. I've just never seen it happen. All right, single to the right, single to the left, but punt formation here. The snap, the kick is up. It's a good punt down the middle. Bernard picks it up at the 19. Oh, and he's met right away by number 26, Damari McCarthy. And it's almost like Cooper Bernard was trying to go over him, and he reaches up and, like, chops his legs out for all clean play. But it's just an interesting thing the way he was trying to leap over him, and then he got caught up in the air.
You know, athletes like that, you know, they think that if I can sidestep one guy and get that space, well, I can pick up 5, or I can pick up 10, or whatever. And they
Or 81.
Or 81, yeah. Really, just a really good play on the defensive side by 26.
And speaking of defense, great defensive stand by the Vikings to get the offense the ball back at their own 19-yard line, 1st and 10. Twins left, single right. Robert Brown in the backfield behind Carey in the pistol formation.
They've run and run. Let's see if that sets up the pass.
Now a man comes in motion from the far side. That's Derek Bledsoe. Now we have Twins right. Here's the snap. Handoff to Brown. He does come around this side at the 20-25. Oh, and barely gets tripped up and falls forward to the 29-yard line. I believe it's the 29. I think that's going to be – they may come out for a measurement on this one.
0 on the tackle.
They're giving
Demarion Williams. So he did hit that line to make. So 1st and 10 for the Vikings at their 29-yard line. Here's the snap. Brown again cuts nicely to the left, but he's ridden down hard at the 30-yard line by number 15, Karan Jones.
Saw an opening and then tried to kick it outside. Wasn't able to get his footing enough to make that corner. Still picked up a yard or two. They give it him 1 yard, it looks like. 2nd down and 9.
At the 30-yard line, yep. Got 1 yard on the play. Or maybe 7/8 of a yard.
Most of it.
Twins right, single left. Robert Brown to the left of Carey, the quarterback. Here's the snap. Carey pitches it to Bledsoe on a jet sweep. He goes to the far side. He gets tripped up at about the 32-yard line. Maybe the 33.
Just a little bit of an inside handoff on the sweep play. Just not able to get the corner.
3rd down and 6 for the Vikings at their own 33-yard line. Got to get to the 39.
1st down would be great. You'd love to pick up a little more yardage, take off some clock.
Twins right, twins left. One in the backfield to the right of Carey, the quarterback. Here's a snap. Steps back. Throws to this side. Just out of the reach of number 85, Xavier Bowling, the tight end. And that's going to bring a punt situation for the Vikings.
That ball was a little bit low and a little bit outside. I don't know if he catches it, if he's able to turn it up and get the 1st down.
Low and outside like ball 4, if
Like,
you will.
yeah, a little bit like ball 4.
All right, so now the Vikings are in punt formation. Skeeters have 1 man deep at the 35. That's a fake. He goes up the middle. He's being pushed. It was a direct snap. He's going to be short by a yard, though.
I think so. Where he says he is and where the officials are saying he is a yard difference.
Yeah, the officials are saying 30-yard line. You know what? I like the gutsy call.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, I'll tell you here in
I'll tell you why
3 or
not.
5.
Why not? Because you might not make it.
Sure.
But, you know, it's easy to say, man, great call if you make the first down.
Of course.
But you know, I'm going to say, hey, great call.
You know, when you see the punt formation from earlier, you see a punt here. They've seen something in the special teams with Mesquite that tells them they should be able to be successful. 1st
and 10 for Mesquite at their Viking 38-yard line. Twins left, single right, pistol formation. Here's the snap. Handoff. Goes straight up the middle, does number 6 Cleaver to about the 35-yard line.
32 on the tackle.
Boy, in 77, same thing.
Yeah.
Just rolled right over him. Come on.
And then he's standing up, straddling the player,
And look
waving
at
his
Coach
arm.
right there. Coach is saying that
And
is
Coach-
uncalled for.
It is, because 77 straddling the player, not letting him up, and waving his hand up in the air.
You
That's
got a
just
kid that's
horrible sportsmanship.
300 pounds doing that.
And I'll apply some of that to coaching. Here's a snap, steps back, throws deep toward the end zone. It's going to be, nice coverage.
Yep. I think that play was going to be right out of reach, but a heck of a play by the defensive back.
I believe it was number.
It's number 5.
You sure it wasn't number 2? All right, we'll give it credit to number 5, Von Smith. Number 2, Aaron Fox was down there also. Beautiful defensive coverage.
Yep.
Just timed that perfectly to knock the ball out of the receiver's hands. Third down and 7 at the 35-yard line. Twins left, single right. Here's a snap.
Pass.
He rolls back. He's got pressure. He's got pressure again, still running for his life at the 35 to the 30. He's not going to get the first down. He's going to be marked out just about the 29-yard line, so it's going to bring up 4th and 1.
Number 1 on the tackle.
Linnell Cunningham was going to get, it looks like he'll get credit for the tackle, chasing him out of bounds. So 4th down and 1. Now what will the Skeeters do? Too short to punt, too long to kick. They're going to go for it. Pistol formation.
What do you think, the run right up the middle?
Cleaver
here?
behind. He takes the handoff. He's going to have the first down, and Moore gets to about the 27, 28-yard line before he stopped.
Yeah,
Just
where
past the line to make.
It looks like he just got it. We're at a little bit of a bad angle right there to see that.
Moving the sticks.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been surprised if he had gotten one more yard, but like you said, the angle here is
Yep.
a little bit rough. But 1st and 10 on the 4th down play for the Skeeters. Now at the 28-yard line in Viking territory. 2:02, and the clock is rolling in the second quarter. Trips right, single left, pistol formation. Cleaver, no, but it's going to be the keeper by Womack around the right end. He goes down to about the 20-yard line. Let's see where they mark him. That is going to be at the 20-yard line, 8-yard gain.
8 on the tackle.
And number 8, Christopher Johnson,
He's
makes
all
the
over
tackle.
place. If there's a defensive MVP tonight, that's him. Clock is still running, 1:30.
Trips right, single left, pistol formation again. Cleaver in the backfield. Steps back. Womack throws to the end zone.
Oh, that's going to be.
Oh,
He held
gracious.
him all the way. He held him all the way. That's number 5.
Yeah, I think Von Smith probably did have too much contact. He did turn around to try to make the play, but probably too much contact before he turns around. And that'll bring up first down. Now, this will be interesting. If they're going to say he interfered or held him before the end zone, it's half the distance. If it had been in the end zone, I think they put it at the 2.
Well, it can only be a 15-yard penalty at the most.
Right, but it's half the distance. Or if it's in the end zone,
I
they
see
can
what
put it
you're
at the
saying.
2.
Yeah.
But first and 10 at the 11, or 10 and a half?
Did they call holding?
No,
maybe? Yeah, they called holding.
Oh, okay, not
pass
interference. Cleaver takes it around the right end. He's going to score a touchdown from 10 yards out. And that's going to put the score at 20-15, pending the point after, 1:20 to go. Did they leave enough time for the Vikings to have something happen on their next possession?
81 to kick.
Saul Barco, the kicker for the Skeeters.
35 yards, 4 plays, 2 first downs.
Here's the snap. The hold. The kick is up. Splits the uprights. And the new score, Skeeters 21, Vikings 15.
Bill, that was a really strong drive by Mesquite. I mean, are there a couple plays on there that we might be a little frustrated with? Yeah, absolutely. But they just came in. Power football, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. They did throw it a couple times. One of them, of course, getting the holding penalty deep. But their deal there was running the football. Two passes, and neither one of them were completions. One of them the holding, and the other one a really good defensive play. 2 first downs, 2 minutes 17 seconds off the clock, 35 total yards, and again, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. One quarterback keeper that picked up a big chunk of yards, and of course that 4th down and 1 play that they were able to get. Your current score is Mesquite 21 and Lamar 15.
Number 15, Sidney Anderson, and number 1, Linnell Cunningham going deep for the Vikings.
Minute 20 seconds is plenty of time if
Saul Barco getting set up for another short kick. He's only 2 yards behind the tee.
I bet he kicks it deep on this one.
1-2 steps, short kick to the far sideline. Fair catch called for and made at the 30-yard line by number 23, I believe, Jermaine LeBlanc.
Yes.
So
Bill, with a minute and 20, why don't you kick it deep?
Do it. Let's do it.
You know?
Maybe they can't.
because maybe he can't, he might not be able to get it into and out of the end zone consistently. No, Javier's correct.
You're right. You may be right.
So what you do is you really take away the risk of the big return.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just,
And-
to me, you kick it deep, and
And I think in most situations you do.
Yeah, man,
But-
and you're right. Maybe that's
But
the best
but here
thing
we'll
you
go
can do.
1st and 10. Can the Vikings, who've had one or two good drives, but they've also been shut down some. So it's a play that you got to call the odds on. Trips right, single left, throws to this side. Bledsoe catches it at the 28. He's going to be tackled behind the line of scrimmage by number 23, Bobby Raleigh O'Neal. That sounds like a good Southern name.
It does.
Southern Irish, Bobby Raleigh O'Neal.
O'Neal.
Raleigh, North Carolina. You got the Ricky Bobby thing going, and then you cap it off with the O'Neal.
Does he have a mullet?
Oh man, that would be good to see.
That would be the best.
All right, so it's only going to be a loss of 1 yard. The Vikings call a timeout. It's 2nd down and 11 at their own 29-yard line. Oh no, Mesquite has called timeout. My bad.
Interesting.
Yeah.
They may be saying, look, if we can hold you, we may get a chance for one play.
Well, if they get a 3 and out, and if you have a fairly short punt or a good return, you might be able to at least set up for a field goal. Who knows?
Of course, yeah. Of course, the other thing is you've stopped the clock and you're giving the Vikings, a chance
So,
with a little more time.
There we go. Now they took the timeout off for the scoreboard. Okay, so the Vikings will come out 2nd down and 11, and that does bring up a good point. At least get the ball moving and keep possession through the end of the half, whatever happens. Stacked receivers to the right, single to the left. Here's a snap. Steps back. It's going to be a keeper by Carey around the far side. 30, 34. He's ridden out of bounds and tackled out of bounds. No flag thrown.
Gracious.
Number 4 is going to make the tackle. That's Tyler Manoy.
Bill, if this was a different officiating crew, there'd be 2 or 3
Oh.
personal fouls already, right?
Well, yeah, because you're riding the guy, release, and then he actually makes the tackle out of bounds. 3rd down and 6 for the Vikings. Twins left, twins right. 1 in the backfield to the left of Carey. And now a new play being called in.
Mercat.
10 seconds on the play. Yeah, meerkats, they all pop up and turn. 6 on the play clock. 4, you better hurry up and snap this thing. Carey didn't know what to do. And now they're going to have to burn a timeout that they might need later on. And I just got to wonder what is going on with these plays being called in, and then the quarterback is unsure. And they do it with like 12 seconds left on the play clock.
And, Bill, you've got to think that the other coaches know that Lamar's going to do that. So why don't you show one defense, and then with 10, 12 seconds, switch into what your standard defense is going to be? Obviously Lamar knows that. If I can think of it, Lamar's
1:01 to go in the second quarter. 1 timeout for the Vikings. 3rd down and 6 at their own 34-yard line. This is key. They don't want to give the ball back to the Skeeters.
No.
Twins right, twins left. 1 in the backfield with Carey, the quarterback. He comes in motion this side, steps back, throws to this sideline, turning around. Oh, and in and out of the hands, and then a nice little hit out of bounds by number 0. Number 13, Camonte Williams, an unnecessary hit out of bounds also after that. And I don't know why that's not thrown.
Well,
You got to get control of this game or someone's temper is going to flare.
Well, and here's my issue. If you're not going to call anything on the other side, don't call anything on the Vikings. Don't here in 10 minutes call a personal foul on the Vikings for something if you've let things go and let things go and let things go.
All right, punt formation for the Vikings. 4th and 6. The snap, the kick is up. He gets it away, has some pressure,
Fair call.
It is fair. Oh, no. People, don't do that. A fair catch was called, and he's tackled, and you just gave up 15 yards. Situational awareness, please. The tackle by number 27, Jesse Hulbert.
That might be a payback.
I'm sorry. I'm not even going to repeat that. It wasn't cursing or anything, but, oh, my.
No, and you know, the young man's getting up now, and it looks like he's going to be fine. But he obviously called the fair catch and was not wanting to get hit. And you know, the young man, 27, that's
Hulbert.
that's Jesse Hulbert. Yeah, you know, I don't think he realized that he had called the fair catch. You have to. You know,
Yeah.
if you're gonna
'Cause
play football and
now
you're gonna be
you-
on the punt team,
Now instead of at the 34-yard line, you're at the 49. And that's a big 15-yard play right there with no time coming off the clock, basically. Trips to the left,
Timeouts and, yeah,
single to the right.
here comes the long pass.
Too many men on the field.
Confusion for the Skeeters, and now,
that's too many men. In the
yeah, they're
huddle.
going to say they
Huddle.
broke the huddle with.
Yep.
So there, we'll get 5 yards back on the illegal substitution or illegal participation, whatever you want to call it. Probably illegal participation.
Coach is hot.
Basically breaking the huddle. That yeah, like you're right, Javier. The coach is hot over there because that breaks a little momentum and it moves you back 5 yards.
As he should be.
So trips to the left, single to the right, pistol formation for the Skeeters. Meaning a running back behind the quarterback. Here's the snap, steps back, flag,
Flag.
and a catch is made by number 5, and he's tackled by number,
Second penalty.
we'll see, but it's down at the 35-yard line.
Okay, if it's false start, why didn't you blow the whistle and play that? That should be dead.
Richie, I agree with you. Again, that's just, I don't know. I know there may be an officiating shortage, but I'm just, and I'm not trying to be mean.
No,
But these guys, this is 6A football. This should be the cream of the crop.
and you've got, and see, here's the deal. You know, this is no big deal. It's no big deal. But if a
All right.
young man gets hurt on
So
that,
first and 20 at their own 39-yard line. You're right. That's one of the concerns. Someone can get hurt. Trips left. Okay, now he takes a knee. Now there's another flag.
He was lined up offsides, I think.
One of the receivers, Tim, you think it was lined up off sides?
Yeah, he lined up offsides.
Number 9 at this end. And, you know, that's an avoidable mistake, you know, because as a receiver, when you line up, you turn and look at the line judge, and you point and say, am I good? And they say you're good, or you're not good, and you back up. So now 5. So you know what? We're now back at the 39 where it would have been the fair catch was made.
yeah.
So the 15 yards in penalties kind of offsets that other one.
Now it looks
So-
like Mesquite is just going to go into
Yeah.
into halftime and down the ball. You'd like to have a couple of timeouts to be able to kill here.
Victory formation, you got nailed down.
Yep. So now,
Oh, stop the pushing.
You
Come on.
can't not call that.
my goodness gracious, I'm not going to say anything anymore because it's just ridiculous. The clock is going to tick down to the end of the second quarter. The score, Mesquite 21, Lamar 15. Wow, what an interesting half of football with a flurry of activity in the middle, kind of bookended by some big defensive stands.
2 huge interceptions that led to scores. Really good defense. A lot of that. You did have some big plays that were made by Mesquite. I would like to look back. I'm trying to think. That play that was thrown that actually came back because of penalty. Has he thrown a completion yet?
Yes. Sideline.
All right.
Mesquite did?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe he has one.
21 yards.
3
Yeah.
completions? Okay.
Now,
Okay.
here's something interesting. Skinner has his team at the sideline at the 34-yard line, talking to them before they head over to the locker room for halftime. Richie, I want to make this point, and this
Sure.
is important because we've had some unnecessary penalties in the first 3 games of the
Absolutely.
season.
We have.
Tonight, even with the extra pushing and shoving and bad sportsmanship shown by the Skeeters players, not all of them, certain ones, okay? But we have not been in a reactionary mode. Our players have not been the ones then to react, get frustrated. We've not had, I don't think, any unsportsmanlike penalties or personal foul penalties.
No, as a matter of fact, I'm looking
And
at the
that's-
penalties right here.
That's a huge improvement.
We've got 2 false starts and a holding for
Yeah.
Lamar, an illegal substitution, a false start and a false start. You know,
So it's an easy thing to
Yeah.
miss because it didn't happen, but this is an improvement over the first 3 games in not reacting and
And
being the one to get caught doing something.
don't you think, and you know Coach Skinner pretty well, don't you think right now he's telling you guys, I'm proud
Yes.
of the way you've played, not only on the field, but to keep your head about you. I think that's huge.
And that had to be a part of his talk right there. I shouldn't say had to. I'm going to guess it's very likely that was a part of his talk. Well, 21-15.
Yes.
Wow. Some interesting, 2 interceptions.
Yes.
By Christopher Johnson.
He's played fantastic.
Cooper Barnard, a
been
headhunter
great.
on defense.
He's been fantastic.
Robert Brown, some great runs. Linnell Cunningham, direct snap for the touchdown. Cooper Barnard, direct snap for the 2-point conversion. A lot of neat big plays, but a lot of defensive stands and a lot of good stuff that's happened. All right, I'm going to turn down my headset. Richie, in a few moments, you and Javier are going to come back on with Shireen Williams,
Yes.
I believe. And then hopefully she stays around to visit with us during the third quarter a bit.
Fantastic. Bill, we'll see you in a bit.
Sounds good.
Thank you. All right, I've got both these turned on. Let's see, Javi, I want to make sure I get yours turned on as well. Okay, I think all 3 of us are hot now. Maybe. All right. We're gonna do some scores here in just a little bit, but first we have a very special guest. Javier, tell us who we've got with us.
Richie, it's really my great pleasure to introduce to the listeners, everyone here, probably one of the most recognized and accomplished sports journalists, specifically NFL and the Dallas Cowboys, and she'll tell us about that. Just a little bit about her. Graduate of Texas A&M University, covered the Dallas Cowboys since 1999 until very recently. The first woman to have a vote for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which is really interesting to me, and served as president of the Pro Football Writers Association. 2018, she was selected and recipient of the Dick McCann, which I understand is now the Bill Nunn Award,
That's correct.
and many other things, including the Texas A&M Former Journalism Students Association Hall of Fame. Please help me welcome Shireen Williams, who is often called Mother Football, to our room. How are you, Shireen?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Okay, who came up with Mother Football?
Well, Randy Galloway takes credit for it, but it was actually Clarence Hill, and it's a pretty good story. We were at the Cowboys, and it was baseball season, and I'm a big Astros fan and was mad that the Astros weren't in the playoffs that year. Obviously, it was before
Yeah.
2017. Yeah. Well, I'm dating myself, and one of those 100-loss seasons.
Sure.
And so we're in the press room. It was a little teeny tiny thing in Irving back when they were still there at the Crud training
Valley
facility.
Ranch.
Yeah, Valley Ranch. And baseball was on, and they started debating baseball, and it got loud, and I didn't like it, and I said, "This is a football press box, and we're not going to have baseball talk in here." And Clarence said, "Who do you think you are, Mother Football?" And everyone just started laughing, as did I, and it just kind
Now,
of
do you have that tattooed
stuck.
somewhere?
No, and maybe I should. Yeah, real funny story. My niece lives in Ohio, and she started a new job recently, and so she was talking to a coworker, a friend of hers, and he said he was a big Cowboys fan. She goes, "Oh, my aunt used to cover the Cowboys, as a beat." And he said, "Is her name Shireen?" And she said, "Well, yes, it is." And he said, "But then that's Mother Football. Everybody knows Shireen." I'm like, well, I have one fan across the country anyway.
So awesome.
Yeah.
And it's funny how our relatives, our kids, don't know what we do really
Right.
a lot of
Yeah.
times.
Right,
It's
yeah.
like, it's just my dad or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In an interview recently, you mentioned that you love what you do.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can do what you've done for so long and not love it. So I wanted to ask you, what did you love first? Was it sports or was it writing?
Oh, that's a tough one. It was probably sports, just because I didn't know I was a good writer back when I was 8. I was 8 years old when I decided I wanted to cover the Cowboys.
Oh, okay.
So I
All
think
right.
it was sports that I knew I loved. Yeah, I told my second grade teacher, asked her grew up in Beaumont. I said, how far is it to Dallas? And she said, well, it's 5 hours, 300 miles. Why do you want to know? And I said, I'm going to marry Roger Staubach. And I'm
Oh.
thinking, teachers, I thought they were smarter than this. Doesn't she know that? And she called the local paper, and Beaumont Enterprise came out and wrote a story on me, and I still have it. And it talks about the Cowboys' youngest fan. So I was 8 years old, but I mentioned in the article I wanted to cover the Cowboys. Somehow in my second grade mind, it all worked, marrying Roger Staubach and covering the Cowboys both. But that's what I ended up doing, and what I pursued from the time I was in second grade and now. So I would have to say the sports was first, but I obviously had in my mind that I wanted to cover the Cowboys as a second grade. I don't know how many second graders' dreams come true, but mine did.
Well, that's amazing, because most of us can't figure out what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And I saw a picture of that article, and you're wearing a Roger Staubach
Yeah.
jersey.
Yeah.
Now you've covered the Cowboys, you've covered the NFL. I mean, so we've covered football. You've covered at least 7 Olympics.
7 Olympics, yeah.
I know you've gotten a lot of awards for an article about auto racing, correct? Was it NASCAR?
That's right. Covered NASCAR very briefly for
Okay.
the Orlando Sentinel.
Is there a sport, and I know I'm missing things, but is there a sport that you haven't been able to cover that you'd like to?
I really enjoy playing golf and tennis, and those are probably the 2 sports. Now, I've gotten to cover both in the Olympic Games, and followed Annika Sorenstam when she played in the Colonial, which was really a cool event. But if I had to pick, it'd be probably tennis and golf of sports I haven't covered that I would like to cover.
Okay,
but,
so if Live Tour called you,
yeah,
and they only offered you, $30 million.
yeah,
Here we go.
yeah, yeah.
Here we go.
All right, Bobby.
Shireen, I joined Twitter, I don't know, 10 years ago. It's still my favorite social. To follow people like you. I mean, in a way, even though I had never met you until recently, I just felt like I just admire what you do a lot. I really admire it. But so all this time, when I found out that you had that vote for the Hall of Fame, I said, oh gosh, I hope one day I can ask her about it. And here we are. Tell us about that. How that is. Just tell us about it.
It's a year-round process of trying to figure out, who the next class of Hall of Famers should be. And, this past class is probably a pretty good example of how difficult it is, because there were really no-brainers in there. Now, I was really surprised that DeMarcus Ware didn't get in the Hall of Fame as the first ballot guy. And to me, he was the no-brainer kind of in that class. But the 5 guys who went in, I don't know if I could have predicted many of them, of the 5 that actually went in, of the 15 finalists. I mean, I just didn't know last year. So I guess my point to this is there are very few no-brainer Hall of Famers. And by that I mean, I've been in the room several times when the presenter, each Hall of Fame, whoever it is, candidate, finalist, has a presenter on the committee. And I fortunate enough, my very first person I presented was Larry Allen. Simple to get in. But the no-brainer Hall of Famers, where you stand up and you say, ladies and gentlemen, I present Peyton Manning, and you sit back down. There's no discussion. There's no debate. He's going in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, period, end of story. But there are very, very few like that. There's not many. And so most of them take time. You get in the queue. They wait, and they don't. None of them believe that they should have to wait. And most of them have to wait, and they're not happy about it. But that's why, because there are a ton of them who are all there right together, and it's separate. How do you separate them? How do you separate some of those groups? How do you separate an offensive lineman like a Tony Baselli, who had a really short career, who has no stats, but the years he played, he was one of the best left tackles in all of football. And then you're comparing him to other guys who actually have stats, and so that to me is what makes it a difficult process, and just how the game has changed. When you look at the receiver position now, what the numbers they're putting up are just so wild compared to what we had in the 70s. Last guy, fun fact of the day, last guy not to have 1,000 yards to lead the league in receiving yards was Drew Pearson.
Oh, wow.
That's how long ago it was. And it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
So the game has changed a bunch since then. And I think, coming up, we're talking about Eli Manning. And you talk about Phillip Rivers and some of those guys who just have huge stats and where they rank in completions, yards, touchdowns, everything. They're in, top 10. But are they Hall of Famers?
Yeah.
And that's what you have to decide, and that makes it a really hard process, I think. If a guy like Phillip Rivers, great stats, never won a Super Bowl, is he a Hall of Famer? And that's what you have to say.
You compare him to a guy like Eli Manning,
Absolutely.
who does have the rings.
Absolutely.
But
Tony Romo.
But he doesn't have the Pro Bowls. He doesn't have all pros. The other things you look for in a player. He
The
doesn't
wow
have those
factor.
things. Yeah, right. He was at his best in the postseason, though. I'll give him that, and won those 2 Super Bowls and made huge plays in those games.
True.
But those, to me, are going to be very difficult guys. Now, I don't think either one of them's the first ballot Hall of Famer. But are they Hall of Famers? They probably will end up being Hall of Famers. It just may take some time. And again, they're not going to be happy about waiting. Nobody's happy about waiting, I can tell you that.
Okay, let me stick with the Hall of Fame stuff one more time. I know that things have changed over the years. Is there still a Cowboy bias?
No, I don't think you can say that based on what's happened in recent years. And now we're going to have, it looks like Chuck Halley go in. I had the great privilege of presenting Dan Reeves, who I think has a great case to go in as a coach. And I made the argument, because now it's the coach contributor category, I made the argument that you can't put him in a box. Like now that it's the coach and contributor category for what he did in the game as a player, 16 touchdowns one year, got MVP votes. But as a player, as an assistant coach, he's the last player who was also a coach. He served as player/coach for the Cowboys, the last guy to do that. And 9 Super Bowls this guy was in. Now, people say, well, he never won one as a head coach. I get that. But he had a Hall of Fame career and was very important to the history of the NFL, I think. But I think he'll go in the next few years. But Chuck Halley, great story. Chuck Halley got voted in as a senior finalist, so now he has to get 80% of the vote to actually go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Talk about a guy that's waited a long time, So he has Alzheimer's and dementia. And a friend of mine, John McClain, formerly of the Houston Chronicle, just retired, had the great privilege of presenting Chuck Halley to the seniors committee. I'm not on the seniors committee, but presented him. So Chuck Halley's son called John and said, hey, will you come to Dallas? Will you drive to Dallas and tell him? We think that might get through to Chuck maybe better than one of us telling him. So he drove up here, spent the night. Next morning, it was that day it rained 11 inches or whatever it rained. And he went to Chuck's house and told Chuck there was no response, nothing. Well, Chuck has a full-time caregiver, so John leaves the house, and about 15 minutes down the road, he was real disappointed because there was no acknowledgement by Chuck that he understood that he was in the Hall of Fame. But about 15 minutes down the road, he gets John gets a call from Chuck's son, and Chuck's son said, I never thought I'd be making this phone call to you, but he said the caregiver was wheeling him in his wheelchair, and he said, you know what? I need to go buy a new suit. I just made the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and burst into tears. So for that minute, he may not remember it now, but for that minute, he knew he had made the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And that, I get chills still telling that story because that's why it's so important to these guys. And maybe it's a bigger deal when they have to wait that long.
Sure.
Look at a guy like Drew Pearson.
Yes.
I think it was 33 years until he went in. I think that almost makes it more meaningful when you have to wait that long to finally get the call.
Yeah, you have one of those guys like a DeMarcus Ware that they might have to wait a year or two.
Right.
Hey,
Michael Irvin,
could
3
be-
years.
Yeah. You could be, 33 years waiting,
Yeah. And most of them, Drew Pearson shouldn't have had to wait 33
No,
years.
I
He was,
agree.
all-decade player.
Only one, not
Yeah.
one, right?
And 1970s all-decade team, yep.
I think the only other one was the safety for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I think was the only one from the 70s that didn't that wasn't
Cliff Harris.
Cliff Harris.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. In all your travels and all your reporting and everything, most exotic place you've ever been? Please don't say Valley
Oh,
Ranch.
no,
or
well,
something like that.
no,
It's
it would
really
have
gonna
it would have
disappoint us.
well, it would have to be the Olympics. I mean,
Okay.
there's so many great Olympic experiences that I had. Beijing, I loved.
Okay.
You know, and when you go to the Olympics, you get to go for a month, and you
Right.
get to live in the city for a month,
Right.
and I loved
And the
Beijing.
Olympic
Beijing
town,
was
Olympic-
outstanding.
yeah.
And Italy, I was there for the
Oh,
touring
really?
touring
Okay.
games. That one was outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Really, all of them. Greece was my very first. Well, it was my first one out of the U.S. My very first Olympics was Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
But it was still exciting, even though it was in the U.S.
Sure.
But Vancouver, I did Greece. Beijing, Rio was the last one I did. So any of those.
Is there a
Obviously
sport that,
rank right
if
up
there
there.
is there a sport that you're like, I don't care if I see this, or this, but I do want to see this?
I would see anything at the Olympics. I mean, it number one on my bucket list, and if you haven't been to Olympics, I think it should be number one on your bucket
Sure.
of anything. I've covered so many Super Bowls, and I Super Bowl experience is fantastic. I've covered 27 Super Bowls now. I missed the COVID year. Otherwise, I would have exactly half. But the Olympics to me is just it's a Super Bowl every single day for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Boy,
just
no
you can go see any sport, and it's just it's amazing.
Right. You know,
Amazing.
Shireen, I don't know if you know this, but Lamar High School, interesting fact, fun fact, they have a female player. She's number 83.
Yes.
Her name's Isabella
Yeah.
Mickelson. She's
I was
out
just
there.
asking about
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
she's out there on the sideline. But on that note, on that interview, you said you never really set out to be a trailblazer, but then you kind of followed it up with, as far as all the honors you've received, the greatest one is when other women
Yeah.
come in and talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, you don't ever set out to be the first in anything. And it is amazing that a lot of the first I accomplished have been in the past 10 years, because you think, everything's been done by now. I mean, it is 2022, but it hasn't been. But, the big thing to me now is talking about who's next.
Right.
And I think that's where we've come, how far we've come, which is pretty cool. But yeah, when young journalists come up to me and say, hey, really appreciate what you did, what advice can you give me?
Right.
That probably means the most of anything.
Right.
It really does. More than an award, more than anything else, is just having those young journalists, men and women, come up
sure.
and want some advice. But
Right.
that just means I'm old, I guess, which I am.
No,
Hardly.
Yeah. I think you stopped officially covering the Cowboys in 2017. Is that correct?
That was my last year as a beat reporter. That's correct.
So where are you now? I saw, is it Pro Football Talk or?
Yep, NBC Sports and Pro Football Talk. So we have PFT Live is the show on Peacock, so appear on that. Frequently, we did have a PM show, and we just stopped doing that one, but we have the morning show. So do TV, have a studio set up in my house.
Oh,
Here
okay.
I live pretty close to Lamar,
Sure.
so we have a TV studio set up there, and then the writing on ProFootballTalk.com is NBC's site. So, yeah. It's been good. You never want to get laid off, which I did in the newspaper business, but it kind of happens in
yeah.
the newspaper business, and
Sure.
it worked out great for me going to NBC. NBC's been terrific.
Yeah.
We were talking
talking
about that
about
just
that.
a little bit earlier. I'm going to say the royal we here. We grew up in a time where, I lived in just outside of New Orleans
Yeah.
for high school, and so I cared about Dallas Maverick games when they were playing Sacramento and the game would start at 9:30 at night. If I couldn't watch the game, I didn't get that box score not until not the next morning, but the morning after,
Yeah.
because the game didn't end until midnight or whatever, and those scores already had to be in.
Right.
We live in such a different time now.
do.
Is that a positive? I mean, where is the newspaper business, and is it going in a good direction?
It's different.
Yeah.
I'll say that it's different, and I think everything eventually is going to end up online, and we're not going to have the paper product. But I'm one who grew up with the AM and the PM. I remember when Tony Dorsett, when the Cowboys traded that draft pick to move
Yes.
up, they were going to get Tony Dorsett, and I just remember I couldn't wait for the PM paper to come so I could read about the trade,
Right.
and they're going to end up with Tony Dorsett. But I was a newspaper person my entire life, and now it's just changed. You read it online, or it's just different.
Yeah.
It's very, very different, and I think you date yourself when you talk about the print product,
Yes.
right? And getting
Yeah.
the black and white on your hands, and yeah.
Yeah, I used to for other reasons. So I mean, sports and one of my jobs, but I do miss it in a way to
Yeah,
pick
I
up
do too.
that paper like I prefer to read a book and paper,
Yeah.
but I do miss that. You were on the other side. Sorry, Richard.
No,
You were
you're
on
good.
the other side, doing some PA. What was that like? What you've probably done
Yeah.
it at some point.
It was fun. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Yeah, I felt like I got more in a rhythm as we went along. You kind of figure out how to do it.
I mean,
and
you
all
can
that.
jump in there with Jay anytime.
It was fun. It was great. Yeah, it was fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. Yeah. And, I think one thing about our business, how it's changed, is now you have to do everything.
Yeah.
When I first got into it, you're a writer, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You write, and then the TV part comes into it, and then shooting video comes into it, and the photography comes
Right.
into it, and
I have a podcast.
podcast comes into
Right.
all that stuff. And now these kids are so good at doing everything,
Right.
much better than I am at many parts of that. But yeah, it's different being in front of a camera or with talking than it is obviously sitting down and writing in solitude.
Right.
Little different thing, but I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun and a little different than being on TV.
Yeah, we're watching a good game
Yeah,
too.
watching a good game.
Yeah. Any projects?
You know,
I know you're a writer, but some
Yeah.
people are like, yeah, I've got a book on the way,
Yeah.
or any projects like that.
That's the one thing I haven't done that I think is left on my bucket list is
Okay.
to write a book. I've never written a book, and I don't know that I necessarily want to write a sports book. Sports books don't sell. People don't like reading sports books for whatever reason. I don't know that I want, unless Jerry Jones would come to me and say, hey, I want you to tell my story.
Yes.
I'd probably say yes to that, but I would have to say, well, we got to put everything in there, or almost everything in there.
Yeah.
But I do have a book on my list of bucket list left to accomplish. I do want to do that before I retire.
But
Or after I
maybe
retire.
not sports.
Maybe not sports.
Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to come up with an idea though, right?
Sure,
You can't
sure.
say I'm gonna write a book and sit down and
If
start
you want
writing.
to talk about the time you were up in the booth with us,
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
we can meet with you again.
We'd be
and
happy
we
to-
can
Yeah.
go over this.
We'd be happy to
15
participate
minutes.
in that. Absolutely.
Shireen, thank you so much. We really appreciate you being with us. The booth is open. If you want to hang out, I know Bill and I are going to do the second half. We'd love for you to join us if you'd like to. And so we really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Javier has been a huge fan of yours, and
I
he's
have.
mentioned several times.
Well, short story.
Yeah.
We have the same cleaners, and she was coming out one time. And normally, I never get starstruck. I really don't. I'll go up to anyone. And but that day, I just stopped, and I said, "Oh my gosh, I think that's her." And then I asked the owner. He said, "Yeah, that's her."
Well, and then I went into the cleaners, and the young lady says, "Hey, somebody was asking about you the other day." And
So
I
that's
said,
what you had to
"Really?"
change cleaners.
Yeah, I'm
because
like,
you have
right.
Stalkers out here.
Right. So I'm like, "Oh, really?" And she said, "Yeah, I told him that you were very nice, and he should have talked to you."
Yeah, it was a funny story, but it was great. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you
you
guys
very
for
much.
having
We
me. I
appreciate
appreciate it.
Let's hope for a Lamar win.
Come
You know,
back.
Jeremy Warner.
Jared Warner.
You remember
I-
covered that was
I-
in London, I think.
I covered Jeremy.
2012?
Yeah, great. Yeah, and I became really good friends with Jeremy and his family.
Really?
And,
Okay.
Yeah, right. And that's been a great relationship that I've had with that entire family. And proud to say I got to see him run every single one of his races. And I actually sat with his family in the one he finished. He got the silver medal in 2008, I believe it was.
So that was before
Um,
London. Yeah?
Yes,
2012
that was
London?
before London. And so he won this. He won the gold in 2004 and 2008. He finished second. And I got to sit. I did kind of a different story. I sat with his family for that race, and it was really cool. Just a different perspective. And they were all crying after the race, and what the disappointment was. I mean, you get for some people, a silver medal's great, and other people, a silver medal's a disappointment.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
it was a little bit of a disappointment for Jeremy in that one, but. One of my favorite families of all time, and love that entire family, and still keep up with Jeremy a bunch. I went and saw him at his, was it Jersey Mike's? I think he has in Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
got to
used
see
to
him there.
often be out here
Yeah.
on the sideline.
Love
sometimes,
Jeremy.
Yeah.
Really fun.
Fantastic.
And by the way, my husband Tom Dumper is back there. He
Yes.
used to be the assistant. He was assistant under Courtney Monroe in tennis. So we have ties Lamar. I almost wore my Lamar tennis shirt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, repping some Lamar tennis. So we stopped over at tennis on the way in. So
Good.
hopefully they beat Midlothian today.
Oh, good.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Shireen,
Thank
thanks
you very
again.
much.
We appreciate you
Yeah,
being
thanks
with
for
us.
having me.
I'm going to cover just a few score updates and see where we are. If I can, let me see. So right now we've got several scores. We mentioned the Rockwall Yellow Jackets beat the South Grand Prairie Warriors last night, 38-31. Currently, it is halftime. Mesquite Horn Jaguars are visiting the Colts. That game is 21-13. Mesquite Horn with the lead. Boy, the poor Gophers. Lake Dallas in the second quarter, not even to halftime yet. It's 47-7. Lake Dallas leading the Grand Prairie Gophers. Let's see. The Martin Warriors are ahead 24-0. That is over Temple. Game being played in Temple. Arlington Sam Houston. I don't have a score on that one, so we may try and check in on that one here in a little bit. The Royce City Bulldogs are down to Bowie. Bowie is way ahead right now, 34-14. That game is almost at halftime. Your current score here at Cravens Field: the Mesquite Skeeters 21 and the Lamar Vikings 15. Great game so far. Bill's going to be back on the headset here. Oh, Bill is here?
How's it going?
Not too bad. We just got to interview Shireen Williams.
I heard parts of that. That's a fascinating story.
Very, very cool.
Definitely
she's,
so. And I
you
think she's going to come back and join us for a little bit of maybe play-by-play, some color commentary, some more discussion here in the third quarter. I think she's up for that, she said.
I
So,
would think so.
yeah.
So we need to make sure that her headset is, we'll have her in the middle, and I'll probably stand up for some of that time.
Well, like we say, there's the lead right now is 21-15 in favor of the Skeeters. And I believe, if memory serves me correctly, they will be receiving the opening kickoff. I think Lamar took the opening kickoff.
What's up? Can we not hear? No, I thought Lamar won the toss. I believe Lamar won the toss, and they elected to defer. So
I may be having a memory lapse to last night.
That's all right.
There were two games last night to
Yes.
remember what happened. At least then. I'm not trying to remember now.
Lamar is running through their giant inflatable. They are on the sideline along with a lot of kids. I'm not sure why all the kids are on the field right now, but they just ran through. The Skeeters are running through right now, along with the giant MHS flags that are in white and color. Do we say that was? Is that burgundy or maroon? Maroon.
Oh, and I'm not just saying that because I'm an Aggie fan and an Aggie, but they're 18-wheeler, their big rig that carries all the band stuff.
Yeah.
It said the Mighty Maroon Band,
Maroon,
so
that's right.
I'm going to have to go ahead and go with maroon on that.
Boy, for me not to know that, what a maroon.
Moron.
Yeah. So the Vikings are going to receive the second half kickoff. 1 and 2, it looks like.
3.
Is that 2 or 3? Excuse me.
It's number 3, yeah.
So Jaden Peterson and
Real quickly before
Sure.
that happens, I want to give some shout-outs to some of our sponsors. One more time, Lamar Football Booster Club wants to thank some key sponsors. Randall Mill Pharmacy, voted the #1 pharmacy in Arlington. See how they can assist you at randallmillpharmacy.com. Dr. Rebecca Greco of Physicians Ageless Solutions, Pendleton Photography, the official photographer of the Viking football team, Big Apple Cafe and NYPD Deli, Arlington North Rotary Club, Nizza Pizza, and Raising Cane's. Looks like we have deep Jaden Peterson and Linnell Cunningham, I believe, set to receive the opening kickoff. Kick is up, a short kick, as has been the habit tonight. Fielded at the 21-yard line on the far side. Now, he didn't call for fair catch.
I didn't think so.
That's Derek Bledsoe that caught that. I never saw his hand go up over his head.
Maybe he did it really, really early. I'm looking for the
Wow.
coaches. Yeah, look, the coaches are asking what?
That's ridiculous. Again, I just don't get what's going on down there.
The referee slicked this preseason.
He never made an obvious, even close to obvious fair catch signal.
Bill,
and he had room to run.
A guy will have their hand up, and they won't even accept that. You have to wave it, and I didn't even see a hand up.
Well, that's what happens. 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line for the Vikings. No one split out wide, extra tight ends, pistol formation.
Little different lineup.
Here's the snap. Bootleg rolls out this side. The pass is caught at the 24, tucks his shoulder to the 30. That's going to be number 19, Jalen Humbles, a baseball player, tackled by number 22, Jivario Hicks.
Looks like he got all the way up to the 31. That's a 6-yard pickup.
Sure enough, that'll bring up 2nd down and 4 for the Vikings. It's good to see Jalen Humbles out there.
It is.
His mom is the principal over at Arlington High School.
She is, absolutely.
Again, no wideouts. Tight end comes in motion. That's Bledsoe. Pistol formation. Here's a snap. Handoff to Robert Brown. Comes around this end. Leans over the line to make. Gets the first down to about the 35 and a half. Maybe the 36-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Vikings.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to give him the 36 as well. First down for sure.
They're coming out with basically a tight setup again. One receiver just off the line on the far side. Now Brown goes to the left of the quarterback, Gannon Carey. Bledsoe goes in motion to the far side as a slot. Here's a snap. Brown up the middle. He's going to bulldog and push his way with some help from the lineman to about the 38-yard line. They're going to say he gets 2 yards.
Bill, they're getting some really good push by their offensive linemen.
And we are joined again by Shireen.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh.
It's been a good game.
You know, it is a great game. Lots of defensive stands, lots of big offensive plays, explosive plays. And the Vikings here with a 2nd down and 8. Now, new play being called in, 15 seconds on the play clock. Twin receivers out to the left, twins to the right. Pistol formation for the Vikings. Nope, now Gannon goes back and gets set even with Brown in the backfield. Brown goes in motion to the far side. Gannon goes ahead. Gannon carried. He's going to get about 5, maybe 6 yards.
It looks like 3 yards short.
Number 25, I'm going to credit for the tackle, Radavian Wilson.
Man, it looked like he had a huge hole up the middle. I thought he was going to be.
Didn't it look
more than
that way?
I thought he was going to at least get the first down on that.
And then it collapsed on him.
Yeah.
3rd down and 3 for the Vikings at their own 43-yard line. Got to get to the 46.
Defense stacked up just a little bit. I think they think that this is going to be a run.
Now a pistol formation. Twins to the left. No one out to the right. Here's a snap. Gannon Carey keeps it himself, comes around the right end, and he's going to go out of bounds, and he's hit out of bounds, and, of course, no flag. Now, finally, someone throws a flag on one of these deals, but he had to throw it from 20 yards down the field. The guy that's right there doesn't even throw it.
Was he going to get the first down anyway?
He was going to get the first down anyway, which surprised me. I thought he had no room over there.
It was kind of the opposite of last time. It looks like exactly.
He somehow kept his feet in bounds.
Finally, we get the benefit of one of these extracurricular activities. 15 yards will be added on to the end of that run, which was at the 46-yard line. So that'll take us down to the 39-yard line in Skeeter territory. Shireen, how do you like that nickname, the mascot, the Skeeters?
It's different. You know who you're talking about when you say the Skeeters.
Right.
There's only one of those.
And it's not even mosquitoes, and that's kind of the slang. It's Skeeters, straight
I don't know
up.
if I'd want to be called a Skeeter.
All right, Twins out to the left on 1st and 10.
The Meerkat offense.
Yeah. One in the backfield with Gannon Carey to his right. No one out wide to the right. Tight end off the line. Here's a snap. Linnell Cunningham on the jet sweep, and he is tackled in the backfield by number 4, Tyler Manoy.
You could see that he was going to come in on that play. He was coming on the blitz, and it just wasn't read by Carey.
That's a big loss, 6 yards.
That'll put us back, yes, if my math is correct, 16 to go, right? 2nd and 16. Got to get to that 29-yard line. Ball's at the 45 in Skeeter territory.
This has been a good drive so far. You want to continue, get another first down at least.
Twins to the left, twins to the right. Robert Brown in the backfield. Gannon Carey with 6 seconds on the play clock gets the new play called in from the sideline. Here's a snap. Handoff to Brown. He goes around the right guard and tackle, pushes forward to about the 41, 42-yard line.
This will be a play here, 3rd and long, 3rd and 12. You at least want to get in that makeable territory on 4th down if you're going to go for it. So somewhere that 34, 33-yard line where you have a chance to go for it on 4th down.
6 or 7 yards, and you
That'd
have
be
to,
awesome.
Well, and then you have the decision, do we go for it on fourth or we try and kick a long field goal?
Twins left, twins right. One in the backfield to the right of Gannon, carry the quarterback. Robert Brown goes in motion to the far side. Carey steps back, throws down the middle, and it's out of reach.
This number
Number
not zero.
Derek Bledsoe, the intended receiver. And speaking of Bledsoe, I saw his brother in the stands during halftime. I like the shirt he had on. The shirt on the back says "The Bled Show." Great play on words. Humble guy. I said, "You must be related to Derek." Yeah, I'm his brother.
Is there anything that Cooper Bernard doesn't do?
No.
We have not seen him play ice hockey yet.
Okay.
He was filling the water cooler. He taped someone's ankle. He's returned.
Yeah.
He's made a 2-point convert. And he's a baseball player. And a good one. Wow, there's a punt. Line drive, fielded at the 13. Breaks away to the 25, 30, 35, 40. Still on his feet at midfield.
Number 11.
And he went out of bounds somewhere. We're going to find out where. That return man was number 11, Jamarian Woods. Scooped that thing up low at the 19-yard line. Gets out to about the 46-yard line.
How about a net loss
Yeah.
on that punt after the return?
That-
Don't like to see that.
No.
You might as well have gone for it at that point.
That punt needed
It's a really good point,
at that
Shireen.
point, that punt needed to be a whole lot
Yes.
higher, much too short.
1st and 10 for the Skeeters at their own 47-yard line. Twins left, twins right, pistol formation. Cleaver behind Womack, the quarterback. Now a new play being called in.
Here comes the long pass.
Plenty of time on the play clock, down to 20 seconds. Now Cleaver comes up just to the right of Womack, the quarterback. Here's a snap. Cleaver takes the handoff. Stutter steps to the right guard. He's still on his feet across midfield, but he is taken down eventually.
It's number 2 on the tackle. 44, I guess.
The tackle by number 2, Aaron Fox, and number 44, Ransom Burns, another baseball player. Here's a snap, handoff, Cleaver up the middle. He breaks through a hole across midfield to across the 45 to the 40 to the 37, 38-yard line.
That's the first time I think this game they've gone in a little bit of a hurry up, and it worked for the Skeeters on that play.
It
Five's
has.
down, number 5.
And now we have an injured player on the field. We have 2 injured players on the field, actually. Vaughn Smith, one of them.
Goodness gracious.
5 and
It looks like Vaughn Smith may have a cramp. Hard to tell for sure. Can't tell who the other player is who's now sitting up,
7.
starting to sit up. The other player is number 7, Braylon Cole. Cole comes off kind of limping. Looks like he's favoring his calf. Maybe he had a cramp or a Charlie horse.
Could be.
And now Vaughn Smith up on his feet, limping off with also a right leg kind of cramp thing. You ever get a Charlie horse, Shireen?
Oh, yeah, those things will, especially in the middle of the night.
Oh,
get
my
one.
gosh.
Those are not good.
I had one 2 nights ago, and I woke up almost crying. My dogs were looking at me like, what's your
man.
problem, baby?
Get some pickle juice.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of pickle juice, have you ever had a Kool-Aid pickle? The reason I asked, they were selling these at the concession stand last night. Pass over to the right-hand side. There's a flag on the play.
Holding in the middle.
Maybe holding on the Skeeters.
The pass went incomplete. Great defense. Was that number 2 that did that?
2 on the coverage.
Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
20, legal man downfield. 29.
And this-
Intended for 29.
Illegal man downfield. We lost our paperwork down here somewhere. Get the penalty list.
Oh, hang on. I got the penalty list right here. Excuse me.
So that penalty's going to go against the Skeeters.
Holding?
Is that holding? Or was
I
that
missed the
line
call. I think it's illegal
I missed the call as well.
receiver downfield. It looks like a 5-yard
That's a
penalty.
5-yard penalty.
Yep, illegal receiver down. I got the thumbs up from Jay Ryan. Talk about someone who does everything.
Yeah,
He's our
right.
producer, does the PA announcing, keeps me from misbehaving most of the time. Trips left, single right, pistol formation for the Skeeters. Here's a snap, handoff up the middle to Cleaver over the right side. He's on his feet to the 35, gets down to about the 34-yard line, so a big gain of 11 yards or so there.
Boy, Cleaver has done a really good job of
Maybe
finding
9.
the holes. I
He
mean,
has.
just meandering through and finding that little bit of space.
And every time I say Cleaver, I'm doing everything I can to not say Wally.
Yeah.
There's Cleaver again up the middle. He only gets a yard or 2 that time.
Number 8,
Christopher Johnson makes the
Sorry, number 9.
Deshaun Wells makes the stop on that play.
Big third down right here.
Big
Sorry.
third down. I was going to say the same thing. Big third down for the Vikings.
Well, there's consensus. It is a big third down play for sure.
Well, because you're not in field goal range right here, most likely. So if you can hold here.
Twins left, single to the right, pistol formation. Now a man goes in from this slot to the other side out. Here's a snap. Steps back, throws across the middle, and it's in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, number 11, I believe, Jamarian Woods. Just a little bit low, would you say, Shireen, on that
A little
one?
bit low on that. He was open.
Bill, did it look like one was coming across there to make another play on that?
He was trying, Linnell
He was
Cunningham.
trying.
Yep.
Interesting decision for the Skeeters. Looks like they're going to punt.
And they may try to pooch it inside the 10-yard line if you can
They
get a
do
nice
that,
high
but
kick.
They better be ready for a fake, too.
Yeah, I
Fourth and
Fourth
five.
down and 5 at the 33-yard line.
yeah, definitely watch the fake.
A low snap. He picks it up off the ground, does pooch punt it, and it rolls sideways now. It was going straight to the end zone, took a left turn almost at Lamar Boulevard, call it the 3-yard line.
Still the smart play by Cooper. You don't want to field that ball on the 2 or 3 yard line. So you let it go, and, you hope that it goes into the end zone. That one didn't, but you don't have a fumble or anything like that.
Well, the snap was so low,
It
he
was.
just that probably helped him with that pooch kick because
Sure.
he just had to get it off
And
quickly
kinda
because
scoop
the
it off the
Vikings were
ground.
getting in there quick.
So, Shireen, you've done a ton of stuff with football. How much broadcasting have you done?
I actually have a TV studio in my house.
Well,
so,
I knew.
yeah.
Yeah, you told us that
So
earlier.
we do
That's
Peacock.
true.
Yeah, I do Peacock.
First and 10 for the Vikings at their own
PFT
3. Gannon Carey in the end zone, takes the snap, hands off to this side, looking for somewhere to go, fumbles
my
it. Oh my
goodness.
gosh, it hits the pylon.
It's going to be a safety.
That's going to be a safety.
And that was 25 who.
Looks like it went out of one, didn't it?
No, I think it hit the
The,
pylon.
the officials are talking about it.
think
It
it's a
knocked the
safety.
pylon over.
Flag. It was 25 on that.
A flag is thrown on the play. too.
Now 5 officials talking about either if it's a safety or they're picking out where they're going to go get a burger and Coke after the game.
I guess the call was his forward progress stopped, or would that matter on a fumble?
It would matter.
Yeah, because if the play was blown dead,
Right.
then it's not a fumble.
Well, if it was blown dead, yeah, but what do you say forward progress and then,
I think they're discussing the penalty.
Mesquite seems
They're
to be
calling a
happy.
safety. And now there is a penalty flag after the play was over. Dead ball,
I think this is going to
personal foul against Lamar. Wow. Well, actually, no, that will be instead of a free kick from the 20, it'll be a free kick from the 10.
That's right. Oh boy.
And it's not so free when you're kicking from your own 10-yard line,
No,
is
it's
it?
not.
So that'll put 2 points on the board for the Skeeters to bring the score now to them having an 8-point lead, 23-15.
Still a one-score game, though, thanks to
is.
that
Yes.
2-point conversion.
Exactly. And that was a really cool call
It
at the
was.
first of the
It
game.
was.
So the ball being, I shouldn't laugh, but the ball being placed at the 10-yard line for a kick.
No, it's really not funny. I know
I'm-
it's not funny.
I remember
Coach
when
Skinner.
I remember playing football when I was a little kid out in the sandlot or the streets, and more sandlots and streets in West Texas. But we would yell P for K, and you
Oh,
just
yeah,
pass
P
for
for
kick,
K,
and you
that's
throw it as
right.
far as you could, because most of us could probably throw it farther than we could
Yeah.
kick it. But you can't do that in high school football, can you?
Unfortunately
It's
not.
frowned on.
Skeeter's probably going to have good field position across midfield after this.
Yeah, even if it's a really good kick,
Yeah.
probably going to have good field position.
20-40 kick.
That doesn't take into account anything that they may return.
Now, I wonder what the benefit might be. I guess if you kick it off the tee, usually you're going to get more yardage than get the benefit of the hang time of a punt. You can do either one on a free
Do
kick.
either one, yeah.
But he's got it on the tee. It's Robert Duncan, the place kicker.
Got 9 and I think 2.
All right, the kick is up. It's a
Great
good kick. And it goes to the 42-yard line. It's still loose.
Ball is
It
live.
is. And the
That's a
Vikings
live ball.
got it.
The Vikings have the football.
What a play.
Wow.
Who saw that coming?
Wow.
Now, you got to wonder, were the Skeeters out there thinking, oh, it's kind of a punt situation. We'll just watch it go dead. I think at first they thought it was going out of bounds.
Yeah, and that's what it looked like, and it took the hard turn
22,
It did.
back to the
number
right.
2.
I absolutely
Okay.
thought that it was
I
going to
did
go the
too.
other way, and you know,
Number 2, Aaron Fox, fell on that ball when it was all said and done and got the possession for the Vikings. So instead of the Skeeters having good position, we've got good position on the field, 43-yard line, 1st and 10. Talk about your momentum switch.
Shereen mentioned this earlier, but being down now, you're still just down 1 score.
Correct.
So you're really not in bad shape right now.
Twins left, twins right, pistol formation. Here's the snap, steps back, he's got some time, throws over the middle, is caught by Derek Bledsoe at the 25, gets down to the 20, inside the 20 to about the 18-yard line.
Brought down by number 1.
The tackle made eventually by number 1, Radarian Wilson. The blood show is in effect.
Good pass, even better catch.
Oh, and he led him. It's like skeet shooting, right? He just led him with that ball.
Now a little tempo by the Vikings, too.
Yes.
Exactly right. 1st and 10 at the 18-yard line. Twins left, twins right. Handoff to Robert Brown. Looks for a hole around the right side. He's not going to get, well, he
Oh,
pushes.
wow.
He
Should've
kept
been
driving.
stopped
He's not even
at the
down.
line of scrimmage, and he gained 3.
And they're actually, Shereen, they're going to say 4 yards to the 14-yard line.
And that was a play that I thought might get 1.
Yeah.
And he picks up an
I
extra
thought he
2 or
should be
3
stopped
yards.
at the line. Yeah, it's good running by him. Kept those legs churning.
Which he's done several times tonight.
He
Just
has.
keep it churning, keep it churning.
He hasn't had a whole lot of room.
No, that we had that one drive in the second quarter. That
Second
was
down and 6 at the
pretty good.
14. Twins left, single right. Here's another handoff to Robert Brown up the middle. He's pushing forward inside the 10-yard line.
Another good run.
And
Down
maybe
to the
he's
10.
at the 10. It's hard to tell where they fall forward. At number 1.
7, yes. 7 on the tackle.
3rd and 6.
It's Linnell Cunningham in the backfield. My bad. I didn't realize Robert Brown had come out. So Linnell Cunningham in the backfield behind Gannon Carey in the pistol formation.
See if Kerry hangs on to this one.
Cunningham takes it. He's caught in the
Oh.
backfield. Back at around the 14 to 15-yard
All
line.
right,
They're
now
gonna-
what do you do? You're at the
15 you got
15 on
there.
4th down. 6
you got
yards
there.
for the first. It looks like they're going.
I think they would go for
Yeah.
it.
You got to go for it.
Yeah.
Yep. Robert Brown comes back in, fresh pair of legs in the backfield. Cunningham, who's done a great job, steps out. Bledsoe comes in the slot position on this side.
4 minutes left in the quarter.
Lost quite a bit of yardage on that, but it's still,
Twins left, twins right. Brown to the right of Carey, the quarterback. Here's the snap, steps back. He's got some time, flushed out of the pocket. Now he's going to keep it inside the 15, and he's only going to get about to the 12-yard line, so far short of the first down.
Hit him hard. Get up.
Gannon Carey a little slow to get up.
I think maybe the mentality there is even if we don't pick it up, we've pinned them fairly deep.
Yeah.
They've got to go, gracious, 85 yards to score. That's some confidence in your defense.
And I'm not sure what...
Gary is limping a little bit, too, as he came off the field.
He was limping earlier,
Yeah.
and so I don't know if it's the same thing or something different. That was a pretty hard hit that he took.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Robert Duncan's field goal range is, so really not a bad situation. You turn the ball over, but it's
Yeah.
inside the 15-yard line. Can your defense?
Need to make a stop.
That's right. Yep, and Gannon Carey takes a seat on the bench. We might see Devin Ravel back in there on the next series of downs. Talked with his parents at halftime. Here's a snap. It's a weird kind of fake handoff and then almost like a shot put throw. Would you say? Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a
Out to the
strange
flat.
pass.
Goes incomplete. 2nd down and 10.
Yeah,
Sort of like a shovel pass, but not right in front of you.
It was a weird pass.
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
Not just me. 2nd and 10 at the 13-yard line.
Let's call it unorthodox.
Okay, nice. I like that. Good.
Rather than the orthodox variety.
Yes. that.
Twins right, single left. One in the backfield. Here's a snap. Handoff straight up the middle. I think it was number 12 that took the ball. No, who was it?
Is that still 6?
Number 12.
Excuse me.
Yep, and Isaiah Jackson. He only got 2 yards.
Yeah.
So it's third
Big
down and
third
8.
down. They get a stop here. The Vikings should have good field position.
And maybe answers the question of why you go for that
Yeah,
fourth down
absolutely.
and 6.
Yes, in a no man's land kind of situation there, probably. All right, twins to the right, twins to the left, pistol formation for the Skeeters on 3rd and 8. Here's a snap, steps back, bobbled the snap a little, flushed out of the pocket, chased to this side. He's got some room. He'll get the first down, and he's finally chased out of bounds up around the 32-yard line. So as he got flushed out, he saw a crease around the left side or an opening and made the best of it. First down and 10.
Billy's done that a couple times tonight when things have broken down, and he's been able to pick up some yardage.
And that's one of the things Coach Skinner has talked about on our coaches shows at times, that we got to work on containment on those outside edges. Don't give up on those areas. You got to watch for someone running out there. Trips to the right, single left. Pistol formation for the Skeeters. Here's the snap. Handoff straight up the middle. He's met at the line of scrimmage and maybe a yard deep behind it.
Number 9, 32, 58.
Saw number 32 getting up last. He might have led that tackle. That's Damian Brown. Number 12, Isaiah Jackson was the running back.
Vikings have done a much better job the last 2 plays of keeping those running backs contained in the middle.
12's warming up.
Second down and 10.
Bravo.
Twins left, twins right. Pistol formation. Jackson in the backfield. Takes the handoff again. He's met behind the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Number 58 and someone else, if someone can get that number for me. Jatyron Smith, number 3.
Skeeters are
Jaden
going
Peterson.
backwards.
Yep.
They're behind the chains.
Behind the chains again. 3rd and long.
31-yard line. This is 3rd down and 11.
Shireen, a lot of this game, it's been run, and they've been pretty successful. The last couple drives, not so much.
Nope.
Need to not give up the big play here on 3rd and 11.
Absolutely.
Pistol
Keep the
formation.
quarterback contained.
The snap. He steps back, flushed out of the
Here we go
pocket.
again.
Here's a throw.
Out of
It's
bounds.
caught, but
Oh,
what's
they're
this?
gonna-
Oh, he must have had 1 foot in bounds. Well, we can't see because of all the people on the sideline. He very well might have had a foot in bounds.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
That's not as fun, though, Bill.
It's not, but
Yeah.
I've already had my fun with the officials tonight. This one I really couldn't see, so I won't complain. 1st and 10 at the 46, still in Skeeter territory. Pistol formation again, twins right, single left, handoff, Cleaver up the middle, breaks 1 tackle, gets across midfield to about the 48-yard line, maybe the 47.
Tell you what, if you're the Skeeters, this is exactly what you wanted to do. You didn't want to turn it over
Nope.
down
Nope.
there at the 12-yard line, and they've crossed midfield. If nothing else, they've changed.
Flipped
changed
the field,
it.
right?
They flipped
Yeah.
the field at this point.
2nd and 4 for the Skeeters at the 48-yard line inside Viking territory.
You've eaten about 6 minutes of
And
clock.
you've eaten the clock.
Pistol formation,
None of
twins
those
right.
things are good for the Vikings.
True.
Handoff, Cleaver around this end, and he's going to push and fall forward.
That's
And
gonna be
now there's a
15-yard
penalty against Linnell Cunningham for a late hit on the quarterback after he makes the handoff. Well after he made the handoff, and that is a legit penalty, and you can't do that stuff.
Boy, that's 2 15-yard penalties, in the second half. And, Bill, we had talked about that right before halftime of how important that it was that they kept their cool in that first half. There were a couple plays that we saw that we thought maybe should have been 15-yard penalties on the Skeeters. And
The ball's put at the 28-yard line in Viking territory, so the Skeeters set up very well here, 1st and 10.
they are.
Twins out to the right, twins left, pistol formation, Cleaver behind Womack, the quarterback.
A lot of pressure on this Vikings defense. You give up another score, you're down by 2 scores going into the 4th quarter.
Pressure in the backfield. He gets out of it, goes up the middle, and then he's caught back at the 26 or so yard line. We'll see. He was almost sacked in the backfield, squirted out of it. Number 9, Deshaun Wells, finally in there to grab hold of him and not let him loose. And I believe number 85, Xavier Bowling. No, excuse me, it couldn't be him. He's a tight end. Nope, he is out there. Is that 85 or 35? Guess I need to use my binoculars. Number 35. Tyler Mitchell helped on that tackle.
27 in at running back.
Here's a handoff up the middle to number 27. Now he's caught at the line of scrimmage. Some of the Vikings getting out of that scrum.
Another 3rd
Number
down.
95, Damian Sanchez.
The Vikings need to make a stop on one of these 3rd downs.
Yeah, they've given up too many big plays
Sure
on 3rd
have.
down. Or committed a penalty or both.
And they've all been long third
They had the
downs, too.
quarterback
Yeah.
run, and then they had the pass over here on the
Third and
near
9.
sideline.
Twins left, twins right. Pistol formation with number 27, Deviron Edmond. And now a timeout's
Timeout.
called by Mesquite, I believe.
No, into the third quarter.
Oh,
Okay.
timeout called by the official.
Yes.
I was so intent there. I missed it. Thank you. Well, Shireen, what do you think so far of these Lamar Vikings?
Well, they need a big stop here. You just can't get down by 2 scores. We're into the fourth quarter. If they can stop them on third down here, I would expect they'd probably still go for it. Get the stop. You've got pretty decent field position. Still got a chance to go down, get the 2-point conversion, and tie this thing up.
And we've said it a lot. Big third down.
Yeah,
Big third down.
downs. This entire drive, it started on the 12-yard line. They just keep converting those third downs.
And when you see third down and 2, third down and 1, third down and 3, those are very makeable. But when you have third down and 8s, third down and 9s, things like that, boy, those are ones that you've got to. That's so demoralizing when you give up that big play.
And then the 15-yard penalty didn't
Yeah.
help either. So, yeah, Vikings have helped them out this series when they needed to get the ball back quick for their offense.
Well, the Vikings next Friday night will have a much-deserved, much-needed open week, kind of collect themselves, probably recover from some bumps and bruises, cramps, other stuff. And then a week after that, 2 weeks from tonight, they will play Arlington Colts at Choctaw Stadium to begin district play.
Arlington will be the home team on that one?
Correct. That they're using Choctaw as their home field for a couple of years as AISD starts building these new stadium or a new stadium and rebuilding others. 3rd and 9 to begin the fourth quarter. Handoff. No, it's a fake, and it's over the middle and caught at the 6-yard line by number 13, Julius Hart.
Another big third down
Another big
conversion
play.
by the Skeeters.
It is. All the way down to the 6-yard line.
Aaron Fox down there to help, and I believe Deontay Gentry also.
That's the third big third down conversion for the Skeeters on this drive.
On that drive, yeah.
Here's a snap. Oh, caught in the backfield by Cooper Barnard. He was born in the backfield. I think when the ball was snapped, he was moving perfectly, timed that. Caught Jackson in the backfield.
Loss of 2. I know it's
Excuse me, Edmond in the backfield. Now he comes off the field. And now number 6, Armand Cleaver, comes back in as the running back. Twins to the left, single to the right. Pistol formation. One tight end off the line on this side. Man in motion. Jet sweep this way. Strings it out past the 10,
Flag.
stutter steps. Flag on the play. He gets pushed out of bounds.
That was 11 carrying.
Number 11 came in motion on the jet sweep, Jamarian Woods.
That was 16 defending.
Let's see what the flag is about over here on this end of the field.
Illegal shift.
Well, that's a good one against the offense.
You know, right before the half, it was back-to-back-to-back penalties on Mesquite.
Yes.
There weren't enough timeouts to make them pay for it, but this is a pretty big call because you can't make a first down, so you're going to have to score.
2nd down and 12 at the 13-yard line. No, 2nd and goal at the
Second goal.
12 or 13-yard line. Man in motion comes across from the far side. Quarterback takes a snap, throws to the corner of the end zone, and he pushed off.
This
I
is
think
gonna
that's
be-
going to be
Yeah, it's
offensive
gonna be
interference.
Pass interference.
Let's
Should be.
see.
That's number 2 is a defender.
Yeah.
Aaron Fox is the defender there who had pretty good coverage and played it correctly, I think.
Here's the call.
Pass interference
Yep,
on the offense.
offense.
Yes, finally something gets good
Yes.
called in favor of the Vikings.
Back-to-back penalties.
Yep, and big ones. I mean,
And big
you know,
ones.
because that's what 15.
That's 15,
15 yards.
So now it's going to be second goal from the
28-yard line.
28-yard line.
They might be calling Uber soon to try to get that to the goal. But, of
Yeah.
course, one big play will do it for them. Twins to the right, single to the left, pistol formation. Twins left, that is. Here's a snap. Hands it off to Cleaver around the far side. He'll get inside the 20-yard line.
It was two on the tackle at
Aaron Fox will make the tackle for the Vikings.
Really just ran that straight towards the outside, was able to get around the corner and picked up pretty good yardage.
I'm interested what kind of field goal kicker
Mm-hmm.
they have.
Well,
What's his range?
It's a good thing to watch for.
Yeah, if you pick up a few yards here.
We
and
talked
you can
earlier,
pick-
their place kicker has kind of done pooch
He has, yeah.
kicks most of the night.
Trips to the right, single left, pistol formation cleaver behind Womack, the quarterback. Here's a snap. Play action. Throws at the line of scrimmage, caught. He's inside the 20,
Don't let go.
trying to avoid the shoestring tackle.
That's number 1 on that shoe.
Linnell Cunningham would not let go.
And they are going to try the field goal.
Here we
Try to
go.
go up 2 scores.
And that'll be 4th and goal from the 11, so that would be roughly, 17, 28-yard field goal.
11 to kick.
They're going to put it at the 18, 28-yard field goal.
Clock under 10 minutes, too, so this is a big, big kick.
It is, because really at most you would think probably 2 possessions.
Yeah.
Saul Barco, the place kicker, will try the extra point. They're asking for 40 seconds on the play clock. They get it.
I say
They
2
being the
possessions.
official.
They've held on to this ball for a long,
long time.
Here's the snap. The hold, the kick is up. Looks like it was good.
Yeah,
It was
it's
hooking
good.
a little bit left, but he made it through the uprights.
11-point game now.
So the new score, Mesquite 26, Lamar 15.
You know, after they took that offensive pass interference penalty, you could tell what their strategy was. It was to get enough to get him in field goal range to take that 2-score lead, and that's what they did. They ran 2 plays, a pretty safe pass, and had a running play there.
Yeah, really what mattered there was the score. You
It
know,
was, absolutely.
We-
They just wanted to get in field goal range to go up 11. 9:34 left. That's what they lead by.
Every team
now
wants
the
to score
pressure's on the Vikings.
Yeah, every team wants to score the touchdown, but in a case like this, the coach
Absolutely.
says we're going to be safe, we're going to do what we know we're good at doing, and make sure we get 3 points. Smart. I mean,
It
smart
was
football.
smart. It was smart football.
Shereen, you want to summarize that drive?
Oh, Lord.
I gave you the hard one.
They started a long time ago. It's a 59-yard drive. 13 plays, 4 first downs. The big 15-yard penalty on the Vikings. 4 minutes and 57 seconds. That hurts the Vikings, too. Now
does.
trailing by 11 points with 9:34 remaining in the 4th quarter. They have some work to do on offense.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen a score, hadn't it?
It has.
And Bill, I'm trying to look. Do you see?
Yeah, who the quarterback is
Yeah.
going to be coming in.
Let's see if we see
He was-
12
he
or.
was- He was walking. Okay, he's right there. Right there in the middle.
Yeah.
Again, looks to be a short kick. 2 steps, kicks it short to this sideline. It's caught at the 28 by Derek Bledsoe to the 35. He'll be bulldogged down at about the 37-yard line.
Decent field position. I mean, you're close
Yeah.
to that 40. That's not horrible.
It's about an 8-yard return or so for Derek Bledsoe. Who I now know we can refer to as the Bled Show. I don't know if you were hearing, but his
Yeah.
brother's in the stands and
Yeah.
has a T-shirt. Yeah, I love that shirt now.
Kerry is in a quarterback. That's a good sign.
Be interesting to see if they go hurry up here, too.
2 in the backfield for the first time tonight, I believe. Twins right, single left. I think it's Bledsoe and Brown, maybe?
It's Brown for sure. Yeah.
Yep, Bledsoe goes in motion out of the far side. Handoff to Brown up the middle. Pushes his way against 2 defenders inside the 40 to the 41-yard line.
22 and
Not a hurry up, but the
No,
same type
it's just-
thing.
Yeah.
92 on the tackle.
Let's, you know.
Tackle
what we're
made by
successful doing.
number 22 Hicks and number 92 Willis Malden. 2nd down and 6. 2 in the backfield again. Twins right, single left. Bledsoe goes in motion again. Handoff to Brown again. Pushes forward. He doesn't get quite as much that time, maybe 1 yard
Just got
to the
one.
42-yard line.
8:50 and ticking.
Might need to show some urgency since you
Yeah.
have to get 2 scores here.
Well, and here's the thing. If you don't get this first down, you're going to have a big decision to make.
Well,
Pretty much have to
Well,
go
I
for
think
it.
you have to go, too.
I mean, 8.5.
I agree. So try to make this a 4th and short if it's going to be a 4th. I mean, you want to make the first down, obviously, but
Pistol formation, Twins to the right, single left. I believe it's Brown behind Carey. It is. He takes a handoff, pushes forward.
well, here
He
comes your
didn't
4th and
quite
short.
get it. Yeah, it's going to be
Boy.
4th and 1.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because they had to get to the
Yeah, you're
47.
right.
Yeah,
Yep,
it's
yep,
4th
yep.
and 1.
3 straight plays up the middle.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing so loud. One of the linemen for the Vikings tried to put the ball up at the 47
saw
yard
that.
line.
Do what you can do.
Good try.
It
Oh, here
was.
we go. Going quick.
They are packed in, no one out wide.
Wildcat.
Robert
Wildcat.
Brown takes the Wildcat, and he.
I don't think he
No, I
made
don't
it.
think he made it.
It's close.
Let's
They're
see
Gave him
giving
a
it
good
to him.
spot.
Hold
They're
on.
giving him a
Gave
great
him a pretty
spot.
good spot.
They're giving him a great spot.
Let's see the
That's
line
first
judge
down.
on this side.
I
That's
didn't think
first
he
down.
got it, but
Didn't
it
think
sure
so either.
reflects where he marks it that they have a first down.
He stutter stepped just a little
He
bit, and I
did.
thought, oh no, don't do that, young man. Just run.
Another
the
clock.
hole.
Okay,
Oh,
they're
gave him
saying it's
first
right on
down.
it. Wow.
Woo.
Huge.
By the hair of his chinny chin
Yeah.
football.
I don't know that he made that.
I don't
but
either.
They were very generous in that
Well, of
spot.
course he did.
And maybe
Look,
where
that's
and
right,
maybe
they
where he
called it.
pushed the ball
Yeah, there
forward
you go,
when his
that's
momentum
it.
was stopped. 1st and 10 for the Vikings. Continued life at their own 47-yard line.
Take back everything I said about the refs.
Twins left, twins right. We might have one lined up off sides on this side. Low snap, picks it up. He's got some protection, throws across the middle. Is caught. Bledsoe at the 43. Goes inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. Finally, Bulldog down by 2 players.
That's another first down.
Clock
Holy
was
cow.
7:28.
Gannon Carey picks up the low snap. He has the protection of an offensive line, steps back, finds Bledsoe across the middle, first down.
That was Tony Romo-esque.
That
was.
quarterback's a
Mouthful.
sophomore.
That was a great play.
Also a baseball player. Twins left, twins right. That looks like Sidney Anderson in the backfield to the left of Gannon Carey. Now he goes over to the right. Now he goes back in motion this way. Carey steps back, throws deep to this sideline. That was holding.
Got
Yes.
it. Interference.
And he almost caught the ball anyway. It was in and out of his hands.
Oh, they called a hold. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
They grabbed it. He grabbed his
I
jersey.
thought it was going to be pass interference,
Well,
but it was a hold.
Held his jersey.
Yeah, he did. He grabbed the jersey.
I think it could have been both because
Uh,
that ball
the
was
ball was
certainly
in the air.
Yeah,
But I'll take 10 yards and a
Yeah.
first down.
of course.
I think it should have been 15 because the ball was in the air, but
And let me-
take the 10.
I'll
Yep.
give you the best thing about it. The
Six-
clock stops.
6:50 to play. I was just looking at the clock. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear you say instead of just us, that should have been something else.
Yeah.
But 1st and 10 for the Vikings at the Skeeter 28-yard line.
I always like to look at the demeanor, and there's a lot of Mesquite players with
They're
their
packed in
hands.
tight. Direct snap Wildcat to Robert Brown, goes over the left guard. He's going to get maybe a yard on the forward progress. The line judge at the far edge has it down at the 26-yard line. That would be a gain of 2 if that's correct. And it will be 2nd and 8 at the 26.
6.5 minutes left to go.
Twins left, single right. Brown in the backfield with
And-
Gannon Carey, the quarterback.
10 seconds of the play clock. They let a lot of time run off that clock.
Yeah, too much. Carey steps back, throws over the middle, and just
did.
out throws everybody.
I think
Derek Bledsoe was in there. Sidney
Yeah.
Anderson was coming across, but it was high, and that was about a 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah.
I think that was intended to Bledsoe, but it was a little bit high. I think behind him too.
He overthrew everybody.
In fact, I
did.
think the concession stand had rolled their window down to block the ball from coming in. 3rd and 8. Twins left. Twins right. Too much time being taken on each of these plays. Just my opinion.
At least the clock stopped on this one.
True.
That's true. Brown to the right of Carey, the quarterback. Now he comes in motion this way. Steps back. He has some time. Throws to the flat. Oh,
goodness.
just out of the reach. And Robert Brown took a solid hit by number 4, Tyler Manoy. And Brown is still on the ground. He was pounding his fist like he's just in pain.
Yeah, that ball was thrown just you kind of throw that ball a little bit high. The receiver tries to make the play. doesn't make it and leaves yourself wide open for the big hit. Nothing dirty, just a big hit.
That's one where the receiver goes back to the quarterback and says, "What are you doing?"
Hey,
Yeah.
do you not like me? Did I say something?
Sometimes you can understand those gator arms.
Boy, no kidding. Self-preservation.
Yes. Did not put him in a comfortable position on that one.
This is 4th down and 8.
So
No, we need to score.
Robert Brown does get up and come off to the side of the field.
And then get the ball back.
I will say this. If that ball was maybe 5 or 6 yards further, I think you may try to kick the field goal. You need 2 scores.
Yeah.
Twins right, single left. Linnell Cunningham in the backfield to the left of Gannon Carey. Man in motion comes across. Carey steps back, has some time. Thought he was going to go for it on the keeper.
Nobody there.
Throws it far short of Linnell Cunningham, closest receiver, and the ball will go over on downs.
Well, we kept it 3 minutes and 20 seconds, did nothing.
Yeah, they're in a difficult position now. 5:55 to play, down 2 scores, and the Skeeters have the ball. And you know what they're
Yeah.
going to do here? They're going to run the ball. And if they run it 3 times and punt, you either burn your timeouts
Yeah.
or you run down the time.
And you got to think that it's going to be a whole lot of Cleaver running up the middle.
Absolutely.
And again, we mentioned this earlier. They're offensive linemen, 290, 310, a couple of a 280 guy. So they've got some heft in that middle that you're having to fight against.
Pistol formation for the Skeeters. Single receiver out left, Twins to the right. The snap. Hands it off to Cleaver. He comes around the right end. He's got some room. He's brought down at about the 33-yard line. That'll be about a 7-yard
Huge
gain.
First down run.
Yeah, that makes.
And now we
for,
have another Viking slow to get up. He does get up, gets off the field. That's Braylon Cole. He seems to be overall okay. Maybe a little frustrated as much as anything else.
Clock is running.
Yep. Yeah, that's the biggest problem they've got right now. You've got a clock that's just churning.
Well, and they reset the play clock, and the game clock never stopped. So they just burned off a whole heck of a lot of time on that.
It's a good observation.
Yep.
So they're just going to let this run down. That was a bad move by the officials there. We had an injured player, and they never stopped the game clock.
Yeah, that when the clock operator, they
No,
never
no,
called
it's- no,
timeout.
it's
Yeah,
official.
exactly. There's a
That's a
flag on
false-
the play,
This has got to be a false start. The receiver left early.
and if it is, you're supposed to blow
This
that
is the
dead.
second time
Yeah.
that they haven't blown that. Maybe they're going to
4:53
say
left.
procedure. Perhaps they're going to say procedure.
It's in the backfield, so it must be.
Illegal shift.
Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't illegal procedure, so they weren't supposed to blow that one dead.
Well, that helps.
Yes, it moves it back 5 yards,
Yeah.
stops the clock.
Second and 8, 4:53. I mean, if you're the Vikings now, you've got to. These 2 downs are just crucial to give yourself a chance.
You're going
To
to have to
come
commit.
back.
We've got to stop the run.
No question.
And
Second down and 8 at the
they want to
28.
throw it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you just got to hope that you can make a one-on-one play from a defensive back.
You got to load up here. To
Here's
stop
the
this
snap.
run.
Handoff.
And they did.
Just
He's
like
caught in the
Just like that.
backfield.
Beautiful.
Cleaver is
Timeout
taken down by number 9, Deshaun Wells.
I'm wondering
Great
if
play by Wells. One-on-one tackle.
this is a big. I mean,
Huge
we've said big
down.
third
Yeah,
down,
this
but
is the game.
This is
here,
bigger than
essentially.
big.
this is bigger
4:20 and the clock's running. This is the game right here.
This
If they
one
get a
is-
first down, they're going to be able to mostly run
Yeah.
this down where you're not going to be able to get 2 scores.
This is the biggerest third down of
Yeah,
the
right.
game.
I'm wondering, should you have called a timeout there?
Watch out for your hand on
Because if you call a
Yes.
timeout, you have four
good
and a half
call.
minutes still. I think I might have called a timeout. Still
Agreed.
leaves you with 2.
Third down and 9, pistol formation, steps back. He's going to run up the middle now. He's got some room, and he is going to get the
Oh,
first
boy.
down and a
That's
whole lot
hard.
more as he crosses midfield, finally taken down
Should've
at about the
pushed him out of
42-yard line.
That's
Yeah.
It's going to be difficult to come back from
It
this.
is. Yeah.
3:43 and the clock's going to wind here in a minute.
And I think that's Aaron Fox that made that tackle, and he's the one that came off the field slowly just a few minutes ago, showing a lot of gut and determination there to stay in the game.
It was number 7.
Yeah, I think Lamar's going to just run out of time on this one.
They're going to start calling their timeouts probably after this play.
Yeah, I
Give
would think
yourself
so.
a chance to get the ball back.
And if nothing else, maybe get a score and just decrease the margin some. Twins to the right, single left. Handoff. Cleaver goes around the other side. He's taken down in the backfield. Now do you call a timeout?
Timeout.
No timeouts.
Got to.
No timeout.
Why aren't you calling a timeout?
Well, that'll be question number 2 on the Billy Skinner Coaches Show this week.
Put that on the
This is the perfect time. You've made a big defensive
Yeah.
play.
Second 14, and we're under 3 minutes now.
Yeah,
I would have called the timeout there.
because there's a point. You have two.
Yeah.
You've got to score twice.
And at this point, you might even be just hoping to score once to decrease the margin. Not that that matters a lot,
Yeah.
but just
Always
to.
have the onside kick, too.
Oh, that's true. Here's the handoff. No, it's the quarterback keeper around the far side. He's going to get to the 40, 35. First down and more inside the 30, and that's going to do it.
And I'm just going to ask this one too. In today's high school, where really what matters is your district games. I'm not saying this game doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
However, if you lose this game, but you win a majority of your district games, you're still going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Correct.
And so I'm wondering if this is just, hey, look, we've got things we need to clean up. We'd love to win the game, but I'm not going to spare. I still don't know why you don't call a timeout when you need to.
Well, and speaking on that a little bit, Richie, a lot of coaches will say there's 3 seasons.
Sure.
There's pre-district, district, and then the playoffs.
Yeah.
Cleaver takes the ball. He wiggles around and gets up to about the 21-yard line.
We're under 2 minutes now. Still no
Yeah.
timeout. So
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know why you don't, unless there's. And look, Bill, I'm right there with you. Even if this game is out of reach from winning, why don't you set your players up to, hey, this is what we do. We call a timeout. That way we can get the stop, and then we get the ball back. To me, that's just. I think that's just setting your team up.
minute and a half to play. Clock running.
Here's a snap. Cleaver is met in the backfield.
Oh,
No, I take it back.
Oh.
I think
Pick
Walnut
up
kept
and
it.
Run.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so close.
Loose
It looked like they were
ball.
going to have a chance to pick that up and run it back.
And I think number 24 fell on the
Oh,
ball,
my gosh.
Taylor
and I
Shuey.
was just about to ask, why aren't the Skeeters taking a knee? Why are they running these plays? And that's why you don't run these
That's
plays.
why you don't. I've always believed, when you're watching a football game and you have the team that says, nah, we're not going to take a knee, that only helps us.
Yeah,
it only
absolutely.
gives us that little bit of hope that you can fumble, you can throw an interception, you can, bad snap.
And now we have a timeout.
Lamar did call a timeout finally with
1:11
1:11 to go.
Oh, that was so close, though. I really thought the Vikings had a chance to pick that up and
too.
run it back, which is what they were trying to do, which is why they didn't recover it.
Yeah, instead of just falling on it,
Instead
trying
of
to pick
falling
it up.
on it, and that was the
that's where
time
you
to do
accidentally,
it was the right move to
It
try
is.
to pick that up and run it back 73 yards, which is what they tried to do.
That's good
on
quick
that.
math, by the way. And that's coming from someone who struggles
Who's
with
not
that.
a math, right? I'm not a math person, writer.
I would have had to take off my shoes and.
All right, 3rd down and 8.
Vikings still have 2 timeouts left.
They do.
If they can just get a 3rd down spot, that's kind of been the.
Here's the snap. Handoff to number 12 around the left side. He's going to push forward,
And once again.
and he is just at the line to make, I
Once
believe.
again,
Yep.
First down.
Yeah,
first
They
down
just
at the
couldn't get that
19-yard
3rd down
line.
Stop in the second
Boy,
half.
they
Too many 3rd down conversions
I'm-
and 3rd and long conversions.
Yep, that was a 3rd and 9. There was
Yeah.
another 3rd and 9. There was a 3rd and 6 or 7 that they made.
They were
I mean,
all
I'm thinking
long.
of 4 or 5 of them just in their last 2 possessions.
And the Vikings are not taking a timeout. 45 seconds. Looks like it's going to be a D, and this game's going to be over.
And apparently, the Mesquite is not going to.
No, they just-
Handoff. Jackson up the middle over the right guard. Pushes forward to about the 13-yard line. And you know what? They may be trying to push this thing in and get another score.
24 seconds.
Okay, who calls the next timeout, Lamar or Mesquite?
Mesquite called it.
You got to be kidding me.
You know, they're going to try to score again. It'd be interesting to see if they get greedy and something bad happens.
Well, but with seven.
Wait, the clock. Oh no, no one called timeout.
No one called
okay.
a
They just
timeout.
went off
It's
the
a ball
field.
game.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
about to say the game
That's
clock
game.
is still
Got it.
running.
Ball game.
And that will be the end of the game with the final score: the Mesquite Skeeters 26, your Lamar Vikings 15. Well, I think 2 or 3 things. We talked about all the big third down
Yeah.
makes by the other team's offense. So our defense has got to figure out a way between containment and just reading the plays better to stop the third down conversions.
Absolutely.
Offense needs to step it up and be able to score about 2 more times.
They did nothing in the second half.
Correct.
I don't know what the yardage was in the second half, but it wasn't many.
Well, and I do know what the score was in the second half, and that
Yes.
was nothing.
Yeah. No points.
Now, what's interesting about the penalty situation, thanks Tim Perry for handing this over to me, we ended up with only 4 penalties in the whole game, 1 in the second half. Mesquite had 8 penalties. Carry the 7, remove the 3,
Right,
the decimal
right.
point. Most of them in the 5-yard range, both sides. But anyway, I would say one improvement is we've cleaned up the penalty situation over the past few games.
Shireen, last week it was huge, and it wasn't the holding, things like that. It was the personal foul type penalties that just are such killers.
The
15
frustration
yards.
at the end of the play when you are the one to get caught reacting to something. So, but anyway, a lot of hope for this team, this program, though. So many young players. Gannon Carey, that sophomore. My goodness! And what did you say? That he was very Troy. Was it Troy Aikman-ish?
I
no,
said it was very Tony Romo.
Tony
on the one
Romo-esque.
play.
Yes. And so, but a lot of good things to come along. Open week next week. That'll give the Vikings a chance to recover from some bumps and bruises. Some of the other guys that have not been playing as much also. We'll see what happens in 2 weeks as the Vikings go to Choctaw Stadium, just about 10 or 15 minutes away to face the Arlington Colts. Until next time, for Tim Perry, our statistician, Javier Nahera, our spotter, Jay Ryan, our producer, Richie Sherrod under the headset with the color commentary, Shireen Williams, our guest announcer tonight. I'm Bill Frawley saying VFND.